Hey, hello guys, how's it going? I thought I'd do a little video because I've been chatting to a few of my pals and I've had quite a few emails from people that are awake, but they're not getting it. They're not getting it. The ultimate penny isn't dropping. Lots of people are aware of the satanic aspect of this and the satanic ritual abuse and the adrenochrome, but they're not understanding the bigger picture and they're not getting it. And there's lots of missing gaps for them. Now, Christian's information fills in all of those gaps. It just sounds a bit odd. When you first hear Christian's information, it sounds a bit strange. But when you think about it and you let it sink in, then it becomes really obvious. I think a lot of people have realised that now, and a lot of people are still stuck in that it's too fantastical for them to get their head around. Do you know what I mean? It's too like people are more accepted now to talk about satanic ritual abuse, to talk about the Pope's red shoes, to talk about Madeleine McCann's dad wearing red shoes, and no one knows why. No, I haven't even heard anyone else ask a question. Why are they wearing them shoes? You know, people that are asleep, they know it's going on, but they're not. It's like their brain doesn't want to associate too much with it. You know, they don't want to dwell on that too much because A, it's too shocking, and B, it's too absurd to consider the fact that royalty and famous people and scientists and sports players and celebrity, all of them. There isn't anyone famous who isn't involved in this. If you know them and you've seen their face on telly or often you hear their voice on the radio or you see them doing a quiz, they're hosting a quiz show or a children's TV program or they're a top athlete or they're whatever they are. If they're in the public eye for whatever reason, a scientist, a mathematician, who not anyone, they're all involved because you wouldn't be on the telly, on the radio, in the newspapers, or in the magazines if you don't sell your soul because they need to know that they've got tight control on everything that you see and hear. Everything. So there's six companies that own the world's media. There's just six companies that come from just, I think it's two families. Two of the 13 bloodline families own the entire world's media. Every newspaper, every magazine, every periodical, every radio station, everything. They own everything, every printing, the printing houses that own all the other lower down printing, they own the fucking lot. They own everything. Everything you see and hear is controlled by two families via six companies that all work together to keep this illusion going. All the world's media, all the world's news. So to be a weather girl, you have to sell your soul. You can't be a weather girl, can't be a newsreader in any country unless you sell your soul. Now, this is where it comes in. It's really difficult for people to understand because they're thinking, well, these red shoes are made from children's skin. Well, why would you do that? I mean, who the fuck's going to do that? Go and skin a kid for a laugh and make a pair of shoes out of them. There's a lot more behind this that people are not willing to even look at because it sounds too ridiculous. But when we get home in a couple of months' time, few months' time, this won't sound ridiculous, and you'll be kicking yourself. Everyone will. Everyone but the people that are really awake right now are going to be kicking themselves because it is actually really easy to see. The veil is so thin, it's thinner than cling film, but you look through it and past it because it's almost like it's not there. You can't, your paradigm doesn't include the veil, but you can see it's all there in front of you. You can see it all there. You've just got to let yourself contemplate it. Now that means doing a little bit of research. There's it's easy to do research now. It's not like back in the old days when you had to go to the library, and sit there for fucking 3 weeks trying to find something. You've only got to type it in your phone and sit there with an open mind and listen, and you'll see it all. There's more and more people talking about it now, and it's getting to the point, with the common law stuff, everyone's got to push back. You've got to push back, and now is the only time that pushing back would even have worked. It would never have worked at any other point in history, and you'd just been killed or laughed off and had everything taken away from you, like many others did. Where was I? What was I saying? Yeah, another thing that helps glue this together to help crystallise this in people's minds is the Rothschild Secret Charter. Now that's a real document. It's not fake. A lot of people say, "Oh, that ain't real." It is real. It's been around for a long time. It's not fake. And if you look at that, there's 170 odd points on it. 170 or 70, I can't remember. It doesn't matter. There's a lot of points on it, and they ticked every box. Every one of those points on there, what they were going to do to us. Yeah, I've got it here somewhere. Hang on. The first one second. The first point, an illusion so large, an illusion it will be so large, so vast, it will escape their perception. That's the first point. Now look about you. An illusion so large. This goes throughout your whole history. It's everything you've ever known, seen, smelt, heard, wanted to be, did, went, done. It's everything. This encompasses everything within your existence. Now the problem is, well, there's a lot of problems. There's a lot of fucking problems with this. Jesus Christ, it is so big. You know, people struggling. They don't understand why. You know, so people have heard of adrenochrome, but why? Why would you want? Why would you want to torture a child for a drug? For what reason? Yeah, well, no human ever had the idea to do that. That wasn't a human idea. No human, no pure souled human ever thought to do that. Yeah, who did? Whose idea was that to bring that practice here? Who was that? Now, a lot of people, they don't want to, you know, people talk about David Icke back in the 80s, talking about reptilians and shapeshifting and all that shit. Geezer was spot on. David Icke wasn't controlled opposition. David Icke was a 33-degree Freemason, and he had the job of telling you exactly what they're up to in plain sight, like everything else. David Icke is them. He's one of them. So's his dirty, rotten son. They're a pair of child-killing paedophiles, a pair of them. What's his son's name? Sean or something. Pair of dirty nonces. Yeah, but you think, oh, David Icke, fucking hero, he's told us the truth. A lot of people thought back in the day he was absolutely insane. Everything that man said was true. That was his job, to tell you what they're doing. So that's how they show you in sci-fi films and fantasy, not just some films. Every single film that you've probably ever seen, if it's in a sci-fi fantasy genre or space, anything like that, is 100% they're showing you everything that's real, and also all the other films. You'll find shit in chick flicks that, or you'll see stuff in the background. It's all films. It's not some of them, and they'll talk about maybe I don't want. I've never seen a chick flick, but I'm just saying it's every film. That's like in cartoons when they show you sexual content all through the Mickey Mouse cartoons and Walt Disney. It's showing you subliminal sexual stuff for children to watch. And we all know that now. It's not even a fucking conspiracy theory no more. It's a conspiracy. So you're going to find out as well that all of the other conspiracy theories are also real. Pretty much all of them. Yeah, that's why they're called conspiracy theories. A term coined by I think it was Senator John Dulles in after when was Kennedy assassinated? Well, not assassinated. Was that 1963? Was it? But Senator John Dulles said, "Let us not pay any attention to any crazy conspiracy theories, because people thought back then the CIA assassinated him, and they're almost right. Um, except he didn't get assassinated, and we all know that now. So even that was another conspiracy theory that's actually, well, I say we all know that. Most of us don't, but all the awake people know that. It's fucking obvious now. Do you know what I mean? Um, so the reason that these fucking dirty bastards do this is because they, right, so the humans, yeah, I say the humans. So you've got, for instance, the royal family. You've got the queen or whatever, and all the other royal family. Right. So there's several ways that they can take you, not the royal family, but the controlling, let's call them people for a minute. There's several ways they can do that. They can host you with a Draco. They can put an attachment on you. They can put a real type 1 reptilian in your eye. And that, yeah, we all know about this, and I'm assuming we do. But just in case people don't, a Type 1 reptilian live underground, deep below the bases, and they're about 2 foot tall. Donald Marshall. If anyone has, go and watch the Donald Marshall YouTube. Who's he? Megadeth singer or songwriter. But that everything he said is true. And Megadeth, even the name of that band, is so Megadeth. They can kill you a million times, and that is a Megadeth. They just bring you back to life again and kill you again, and they make kids fight each other in these cloning centers they've got going on that Britney Spears sings about, and all the famous people all know about. Everyone talks about the things that go on in there are unimaginable. If you think about prison, like you think about the worst prisoner, the most depraved, psychotic prisoner that ever walked the face of the earth, yeah, think about whatever crime he did, the most disgusting thing that you can possibly think of, yeah. Now you're going to find out that your favourite weather girl and the favourite newsreader and your favourite actor, they do 10 times worse than that every day. Every day. So what your worst convict is in prison for like however long, multiple life sentences and death, that's nothing compared to what people that you watch every day on telly and your politicians do to children, not adults, yeah, or you know, wrong uns, children. People can't wrap their head around that because it's not human. No human would fucking do that. Who would do that? Who's going to kill a kid? No one. Who's going to rape a kid and torture a kid? No one. but they're not human. This is the thing. They look human because when they were human, yeah, before they sold their soul, yeah, which is a literal, you literally sign your soul away. You have to. It's got to be done with consent. That's why they have to show you things in the films. All the sci-fi, fiction, fantasy films, all of that shit on Stargate's well real. Stargate's a fucking documentary. It ain't a fucking sci-fi film. That's all real. Everything. The Stargates. All right, they show you the negative ETs as a Goa ward or whatever they call it, like that snake that lives in the chest. Yeah, it's just another term for hosting. There's a number of ways they do that. So once you've sold your soul stays in your body, yeah, but it's crushed, it's pushed down, and it's got no say in the matter. You're like in the back seat you're on the back seat of the bus, yeah, and you've now got either a demon, a Draco, or a Vril, yeah, controlling you. That everyone thinks is you still, but you can't do nothing about it. You're stuck inside your own body, helpless, because when the soul's taken out of the body dies. The soul is the battery. Think about Iron Man, yeah, little blue light in his chest makes him do mad shit, fly about here, there, and everywhere, killing shit. That's what they're showing you. The little blue light in your chest can do amazing stuff. That's why these fuckers come here. Yeah, they came here. Well, they came here for adrenochrome, and you can only really get the best quality adrenochrome from a young adolescent human child, not a cow or a pig or a goat. Yes, they produce adrenochrome, but it ain't nothing like what you get from an adolescent human. Yeah, it's fucking disgusting. But anyway, so once they're controlled, once they've sold their soul to be famous, they they haven't got a say in anything they do anymore. They are fucked. Yeah, and now it's all over. Since 2019, they're even more fucked. Yeah, but we'll come to that later, or maybe another little video or something. But the thing that people aren't getting is they're seeing the fact that there's red shoes and they know about the adrenochrome, and there's so many things. There's nothing for them that glues it all together. They can't see the bigger picture because their nose is too close to the page. So what happens is they're getting angry and they're seeing so much mad shit. I know a lot of people that are really angry about the whole asylum seeker thing. I tell people, like Christian says, they're not asylum seekers. Yeah. Now, I actually thought this before I met Christian, which is bizarre because I can't ever work nothing out. Never. I know. Well, I'm the last person to work anything out. But I'd already done all them dots, and I was confident that Q was real, and I was confident. Listen, I didn't know about Donald Trump being a fucking Freemason back then. God, I'd have had a heart attack if I'd have knew that. Do you know what I mean? And one of the best things of Christian's information that it does is give peace of mind. Because I've been on cloud nine since September 2022 because I understand all of the information. Well, most of it. I've got a lot of questions still, but it all makes complete sense. It all makes complete sense, but it is so fantastical because most people have only just no. Most people don't even know the Earth's flat. That's how much we've been lied to and tricked. You've been tricked about everything. You've just got to laugh. You have to laugh about this because if you don't, you're going to cry and it'll kill you because you ain't been told. See, the most uneducated people on the face of the earth, the most uneducated people that know the least about anything are those that went on to further education. I don't want to upset no one because you're all lovely people. But when you've been indoctrinated on that level, like as one example that's relevant, I know a university professor uh, in her 60s, lovely woman, fantastic, and she speaks six languages fluently. She's a fucking genius. She's a genius, basically. And it's pertinent because when this COVID thing first happened, I was speaking to my ex, who's good friends with her, and I was just asking about her. This, oh no, my ex said she was going round to see her. Oh, is it? She's cleaning her house while she's away. She's driving to Switzerland to see her family. So, and my ex was tied in the house, staying there. So we were chatting, and I said, hang on. I said, driving. I said, she's got a car, but she's terrified of driving. She's in her 60s, lovely woman. She walks everywhere or gets a bus because she's got a car that she might use in an emergency, but it's got grass growing around the wheels because she's terrified of driving. She won't get in it. She don't even like pulling out onto the main road. She can't drive. And I'm like, hang on, she's driving to Switzerland. That's like one, two, that's what, five countries. But isn't she terrified of driving? Yeah. And I'm like, well, why is she driving to Switzerland then? My ex is like, well, what do you think? I'm like, I don't know. She said COVID. And I'm like, you fuck off. She believes in COVID. She's got 6 degrees. She's got more fucking degrees than a burns unit. What are you telling me? This woman believes in COVID? And my ex is like, yeah, she's terrified. She ain't getting on a plane with COVID. I'm like, this is like 3 or 4 weeks into it. And I'm like, are you fucking, I can't believe it. I'm like, how is anyone that intelligent believing this shit? It's like, are you joking? I could not get my head around it. This woman, who I see as a fucking genius, She's terrified and she's risking her life driving across 5 countries because she don't want to get on a plane. And I'm like, she must know COVID's fake. It, and this was 3 weeks into it. And I assumed that everyone else would realise this as well. I didn't see any legs on COVID. I thought there's no way anyone's wearing this bullshit. It's obviously fake. The hospitals are fucking empty. What? Why are there no funeral? All the really obvious stuff, you know. Oh look, we're in lockdown. So where are they putting the bodies? And no, they're not putting them in ice skating rinks up north because I spoke to a nurse from up north, and I also spoke to a nurse from down south. And well, one from up north is telling me they're keeping them in the ice skating rinks down south, and the nurse down south's telling me they're keeping them in ice skating rinks up north. And I know they're both are lying because that's just the shit story they've been told. Their bosses have said, yeah, tell them that. Because they're too thick to know any different. They're not going to question it. Oh, my boss told me, yeah, they're keeping them in ice skating rinks up north. You put no thought into that. Yeah. But I did about 2 minutes research and found that to be bullshit. Anyway, I couldn't believe that people was. I couldn't believe it that they were buying into this. I'm like, is everyone mad or what? And that's when it felt like living in a dystopian movie. That was 4 years ago, and it's like this shit's fucking weird. How are people buying into this? It's like, what is going on? What? Hang on. And I've got like 8 or 9 mates that thought that I did. Like, what the fuck is everyone doing? Why are they all? Anyway, it's because of the education indoctrination system. So what happens when you go to school? First thing you see, you walk in the door and there's a globe on the shelf, and then you go and find out about this and that, and you know, when you're young, your parents teach you what they know, and they get you to the point where you're like 4 or 5, and you can go off and be indoctrinated properly. Then, see, the problem is when you come out of when you go on to further education, see the kids that are able to remember stuff and regurgitate that quickly at will without sitting there for ages trying to think about it, and the ones that are double keen and force themselves to do that, because obviously everyone's different, we're not all the same. Some kids can't be fucked with all that shit. I was one of them. It just bored the shit out of me. But the other kids that are bright and will remember stuff that they can regurgitate at will, they need them to go into further education. And that's why you get all this come and do, you know, you get your fucking 20 grand student loan and you think you're living the dream for a few weeks till you spunked it all. And then they're fucked and in debt. That's one reason they need you there. But more importantly, they need you to be indoctrinated further. You need to be indoctrinated as fuck because you're clever. And if you start reading books in your spare time that you won't have, because there's no way anyone's having any of that. Spare time is not on the menu. Now, if you think about what they've done, it is so subtle and so clever but they've had help, right? So these fuckers, yeah. So I just lost my train of thought. Sorry. Hang on. Hmm. When you go to school and they start indoctrinating you and they teach you things like, for instance, you don't ask what shape the world is, you know, because there's a fucking globe sitting there. It's obvious what's that? Oh, it's the world. Oh, right, it's round. Yeah. What does it matter if the world's round or flat? And what is one of the biggest secrets of Freemasonry? One of the biggest secrets of Freemasonry is that the world is flat, right? And that's like one of their ultimate main secrets. Well, that ain't nothing. That's the bottom rung of a fifth density reality is the Earth's flat. When you realise, and it is easy to realise, you've just got to. The proof is in here. I've said this before. I don't want to repeat myself. I'm terrible for that, and I digress a lot as well, as you know. But when you realise the Earth is flat, now there's so many ways that you can realise that, and then you're going to kick yourself because I did, and I was kicking and screaming to believe the Earth was flat. It took me 4 years, and now I just think you can't. Do you know what I mean? It was obvious. You just should have looked a bit harder, but you don't think to look, do you? No one thinks to look because it's obvious the world's round. Now, when you think that, hang on, there isn't a picture. There isn't a picture from the ISS of the Earth. Now, the ISS is in a swimming pool in NASA, well, not in NASA, but in one of NASA's film studios. NASA has the largest film studios on the planet, and why would that be? That's strange, isn't it? So it's all filmed in swimming pools. A lot of people are well aware of this now as well. So, oh, I fucking forgot what I was saying again. I'm terrible for that. I must apologise. Hang on, NASA. Um, I forgot. Hang on. How embarrassing is that? One sec. I'll remember. Hey, sorry about that. I remembered. The ISS. That's where I was. So imagine if for instance, if the ISS was actually in the fucking sky, which it isn't, but if it was, um, I've just noticed some weird effects on my ears. Yeah, if you was to turn a camera, the reason they can't show you what the Earth looks like, and you can only see a CGI composite image, and this is the main reason. There's others, as with everything they do, like chemtrails, but don't let me digress. ISS, that was it. So if you was to turn a camera, if the ISS was there and you turned a camera around to face what you think is the Earth, what that would actually look like, yeah, is if you got a 40-foot roll of bubble wrap. You know, bubble wrap, what you pop, yeah. 40-foot roll. You get five 40-foot rolls, yeah, big rolls, and um, and lay them out, unroll them, and lay them out flat side down, yeah, and put your nose about 10 inches away, yeah. We don't need four 40-foot rolls. You just need a lot of bubble wrap. You need 14,000 individual circles on that bubble wrap, yeah, because there's 14,000 other worlds on your flat plane. You're not just a flat plane, just you, just a little disc. Yeah, that's not how it is. You live on Gateway 10, which is 14,000. So you imagine bubble wrap and then pour some water so the water runs all between the little bubbles. Yeah, that's what it's going to look like. And they can't fucking show you that, can they? How can they show you that? Impossible to show you that. So that's why you don't see it. That's why it's all composite images. So what they do is they take photos of the flat Earth and then they bend it round a fucking globe. And like you look, you see, what is it? Captain Cook. He bumped into Australia or something, and he also he navigated Antarctica, and he found it to be 60,000 miles, the coastline of Antarctica. Yeah, 60,000 miles. 3 years later, someone else done it. I forget his name. He found it to be 57,000 miles, the coastline of Antarctica. Just sailed around Antarctica. 57,000 miles. Similar. Well, on Google Earth, the coastline of Antarctica is 10,000 kilometers, or it might be miles. I think it's kilometers. Um, so that's a very big discrepancy. And considering Captain Cook sailed around Antarctica, quote unquote, with the ice wall on his left, I think it was his left, it might have been his right, I'm not sure, it doesn't matter. He actually wrote that. He sailed with the ice wall on, let's call it on his right, and he clocked 60,000 miles. Yeah. So now they say there ain't no ice wall, and uh, and it's 10,000 miles, say, for argument's sake. Now, if you look back and people think, oh, yeah, it must be round because we've got the Piri-Reis map and the Mercator projection and the fucking Orontia Spinius map. And these are ancient maps drawn in the 14th century and stuff. So, they're really good at map drawing back then. So how did they get it so accurate that it matches Google Images? That's fucking amazing. Oh, well, they're very clever, weren't they, back then? No, were they fuck? Yeah, because they had Looking Glass. It's the same thing, same way Nostradamus knew everything. Looking Glass, yeah. And so all they did back then was foresee a situation coming in the future where they're going to need some old maps to prove a point that doesn't exist. So they just drew maps back then, knowing that they will be used to prove the Earth is a globe or to go towards the weight of evidence that suggests the Earth is a globe. They've covered everything. They haven't forgotten anything. They ain't missed nothing. They've not missed a thing in this. And well, we're now seeing that unfold now, aren't we? More and more. But the whole Earth being flat is the starting point. It's the starting point. Is when you realise. So why would they want to hide any of that from you? Why would they want to lie to you about the shape of the Earth? I mean, what for? Because you must never find out what's behind those ice walls. You must never find out. What happens if you find out? They have a reset, like Christian's saying, in detail. They have a reset. So a reset is the worst thing you can possibly imagine. And that's just if someone found out. Yeah. Now look, millions and millions of people know. Yeah. That's one way you know it's the end because we all know about it now. A lot of people are just catching up and just working it out. Hang on, the Earth's can't be flat. Nah, that's silly. The Earth's flat. The Earth's flat. Just get over it, right? And that's not the only thing. Everything else is flat. There is no spinning objects in space. The sun is not a ball of gas 93 million miles away or one astronomical unit. It's not. The sun's 3,000 miles high. There's loads of evidence to support that. You just got to look. Yeah. But the problem is for people is that they don't understand. See, they're seeing lots of very strange things going on. Lots of really strange things, and everyone's talking about how strange it is, but no one's willing to look at the crazy, crazy answer that ties all this together. Yeah, because it's too crazy. Now, when you sell your soul, like I was saying before, you're no longer a human. You just look like a human, and they're master mimickers. So the demons, the Draco, the Vril, they're master mimickers. They can mimic anything. They can mimic anything. They can pretend to be anything. Yeah. They just in the vessel. That is in the vessel of your favorite celebrity or the person that you've got their name tattooed on your arse cheek or whatever. Yeah. So it's not that person the moment they sold their soul. Now, the people that don't sell their soul, you never hear of them again. They just disappear, or they're killed, or they died in a plane crash, or whatever, you know. Um, and that's why they don't hit. You think, oh, that was a so and so was a brilliant artist. Why didn't they do anything? Because they didn't want to sell their soul. Now, most do. Most do. You know, I mean, very few, like probably less than 1% don't. Less, it is less than 1% don't. It's going to be a lot less than 1% who don't sell their soul. So there ain't many of them. Um, but they have to do this. Now, the reason that they have to kill kids and get adrenochrome and keep this whole mechanism going, it's all the whole fiat currency system thing. It's all designed that one person will want to have more than another. Once they create a situation where one person, at least one person, wants to be better than someone else, have more sex, more money, more land, more power, more gold, more whatever, doesn't matter what, when you create a situation where some person wants more than someone else, you've got an enslaved species because then it's going to be like cancer. It's going to spread like a cancer, and it did. Now, the way it spread like a cancer is because, well, there's several reasons for that as well. But when you die, yeah, the light that you see at the end of the tunnel is the sun. Normally, when you die, you go into the sun. That is the light you see at the end of the tunnel. And then you would go back to source creation through the portal, which is the sun. Every realm has a sun, even inner earths have a sun. You have to have a sun because that's how you go home. That's how you get back to where source creation created you. You download your information and then you're free to go with all your memories intact. Now, when I was a kid, I used to think, when I was 14, 15, I used to think, I believe in reincarnation, I 100%. And by 14, 15, I read a really good book, The Children That Time Forgot by Peter and Mary Harrison. It blew me away. I was like, wow. And I looked into it after that, and then the internet was invented, and I found loads of stories of children that definitely do remember past lives. I'm thinking, well, what's the point of reincarnation if we don't have our past life memories? It's fucking pointless. It really is because you're just starting back not where you left off. You're starting back again at the bottom rung, not knowing anything, not knowing who you are, not knowing who you was in your last life. Now, I went for past life regression. It didn't work on me because I should have had about two or three sessions. It didn't. I say it didn't work. Some weird shit did. But I can't associate that with anything that I may or may not have been, and I therefore don't think it worked. Uh, no, it didn't. I'm pretty sure it didn't. Anyway, what was I fucking hell? I've forgotten again. Uh, oh Jesus Christ! I'm so sorry. Hang on. For fuck's sake. Yeah, sorry about that. I remembered. I had to rewind it and listen again. So, the light you see at the end of the tunnel when you die, yeah, which everyone sees, is the sun, yeah, as Christian explains, like I say in detail. So, when you go into the sun, normally you go back to source. Source eats wisdom, yeah, your knowledge, experience, all of the things you've done, seen, smelt, heard, listened to, experienced, all the emotion, everything, all the wisdom, everything you experience. That's what source needs. That's how source grows in ability. So source is growing still as well. Every time you go back to source, everyone, yeah, you download your information, the source gets bigger, more knowledgeable, more experienced, yeah, and it's been going on like that for billions of years. The universe isn't 13.8 billion years old. It's a lot older than that. Fucking Christian's older than that, for fuck's sake. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot older than that. So, yeah, normally in a normal ascent, not a normal ascension cycle, a normal life death cycle, there is no death. Pardon me. There is no death. When you're reborn with all your memories intact from your previous life, how is that dying? It's not. So death is another fiction. It's another thing they've lied about. Yeah, they need to keep you scared. You need to keep you worried about dying because it's another mechanism of control. Yeah. No, they had that in the what they call the Dark Ages. They weren't that dark at all, to be honest. That was fucking Tartaria. They had electricity, so it would have been pretty bright in the Dark Ages. But it's a lot easier to tell you, oh yeah, it was the Dark Ages. We don't know nothing about that. Oh, it was ages ago. Fucking load of rubbish back then. Don't worry about that. Moving on. So they don't want you to look into Tartaria and know about all that. For fuck's sake. That's another reason that Tartaria was the last reset. 5th to 6th was the Tartarian period, and it ended in 1870, 1890. So it would have began 1,000 years roughly before that in about 890. So see, history, all of your history, all of it. There's not a little bit of history. All of your history is all bullshit to explain away Tartaria. And the history for Tartaria would have been bullshit to explain away the reset before, and so on, right the way back to the reset one, which was 6,014 years ago, as Christian explains. Now, I would advise people to swat up on Christian's videos, go back to the first ones, read the synopsis, bring yourself up to speed, because um, this is happening. And this is another thing, you see, a lot of my really awake pals, they are really awake, yeah, as a lot of us are, but they're not. One of my pals couldn't understand why the Vladimir Putin was seen in two places on the same day, two different countries at the same time, and I'm like, well, yeah, because it's it ain't like there's more than one Vladimir Putin, maybe CGI or whatever, body double, actor, skin suit, whatever. It's all coming out in plain sight. And the questions that people have got, Christian 21's info covers all of these, all of them. Fucking, I didn't know nothing till I met Christian. I didn't know fucking nothing. I thought I did, but I didn't. And the reason that I do, right, this is when something's right because it feels right, like a tuning fork. You get that feeling inside. It's almost a physical feeling. Yeah. Well, when you look into this and you understand it and you absorb it, yeah, you will resonate with it because it won't necessarily trigger memories in you, but you will understand it and you'll know it. You'll just know. You'll be like, nah, that's right, which is what I felt when Christian said to Linda Paris about 3D to 5D, because I couldn't. I'd not met. I've only met one person since in the last 4 years that wanted to know what happened to fourth density. Why do all these top truthers talk about 3D to 5D, but no one explains it? No one even asks. No one dare ask another truther on a video show, what do you mean? What does that mean? Because none of them know. They just see the truthers that are under NDA, like Charlie Ward, this, that, whoever else is under an NDA, they they're under NDA. They've got to say what they're told to say. They're given bullet points, maybe, or an email once a month, or once a week, or once a day. Who knows? And they get a script. You're going to talk about this, 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 and then whatever else you want to talk about. But you're going to mention that 3D to 5D, and no one's going to know what it means. But you're going to mention it because everyone needs to hear that 3D to 5D, right? Now, I thought immediately when I first heard that, I'm like, well, what happened to fourth density? Where did that go? And I'll be all right in fourth density. I don't want to go to fifth. Fuck going to fifth. Well, what? I'm in three now. I'll go to fourth. Thank you very much. What are you rushing me to fifth for? Huh? We don't want to run before we can walk, do we? It's not like that. 3D to 5D is nothing like that. So 3D to 5D, for anyone out there that doesn't know what that means, is 3D doesn't exist. 3D did exist once billions of years ago. Billions of years ago, third density existed. And the natural evolutionary cycle did actually happen once billions and billions of years ago, epochs ago. Because what happened was pretty soon after that extraordinarily long phase of development, yeah, they didn't need 3D anymore. The universe and those beings that lived in it, yeah, that you all know, by the way, these are all your friends and family. This is going to be very strange for you in a couple of months' time. It's going to be very unusual. That's a fucking understatement, that is. Jesus Christ. So 3D to 5D is literally going back to what we had before the parasitic occupation started, which was 6,014 years ago. Because 3D to 5D, we live in the only realm now that is 3D. There isn't a third density realm in the entire universe. This is the only one. This is the only place that has happened. It hasn't happened anywhere else. You see, Gateway 10, that I was explaining about the bubble wrap before, Gateway 10 is 14,000 worlds with 1,013 sentient and highly benevolent, highly intelligent species. 1,013 species. I think there's more than that. I think Christian said there's 1,013 might have been involved in helping us. But there's a lot of species, and they all live here on Gateway 10. Gateway 10 is one super planet, what you live on, which is why NASA can't show you what the world. They can't show you that from the ISS that doesn't exist, because if they did, it'd be the end of everything that they had. Because once everyone knew that, well, it's game over. And that was what they were terrified of. Anyone finding out what happened, what goes on behind the ice wall, or what is it behind the ice wall? You know, in Game of Thrones, they showed you the what was it, the wildlings? Yeah, the wildlings. Fuck me, they're not wildlings. We're the wildlings at this side of the ice wall. The other side of the ice wall are all your friends and family. But when you was here 6,014 years ago, when the Draco turned up, opened an undersea portal between realm one and two, created this realm, realm three, froze the entire. Imagine a big dartboard, yeah, with three ice walls, yeah, and you're in the very middle, in the little bullseye. That's where we are here. Heart, Earth, Earth is Heart. Heart. It's the heart of the gateway. Gateway 10. Gateway 10 is like a designation. It's like there's billions of gateways, right? You live on Gateway 10. It's like a sector designation for a bit of the universe that you live in. That's what a gateway is. And a gateway could be like a small constellation or you could just have like three or four planets, and all planets are disks. There's no spinning things, none, no spinning things in space, nothing. They're all held solidly in place with electromagnetic waves and frequencies. Yeah, all disks are like that, and they're all dotted about here, there, and everywhere. Now, when they take this third firmament down, so when the Draco turned up, they opened an underwater portal between realm one and two, created this third realm three, froze the entire dartboard, as it were, froze the whole fucking. Sorry, froze the little bit in the middle. I made a mistake then. Sorry. You've got the three ice walls, yeah, concentric circles, three ice walls, yeah. The smallest one in the middle is Earth, which is the heart, which is the very center of Gateway 10. Now, when they froze the ice wall, yeah, they froze the whole of that little realm there, right? They then thawed it out, leaving the technology in place underneath Antarctica, which is a ring around the planet, being a flat plane. Yeah, it's 800 miles wide. Each ice wall is 800 miles wide, roughly. Yeah, and uh, and they put up a third firmament. So every realm has two firmaments. Yeah, every disk has two. Um, we're the only one that has three. Now, our third realm, yeah, everything outside our little ice wall and our little dome fucking firmament, everything outside that is fifth density. There are some fourth density realms that Christian explains, but everything starts in fifth density. The universe itself starts in fifth density. There is no third density because third density you get things like hate, anger, greed, spite, cynicism, criticism, cheating, lying, you know. In third density, one of the reasons that they fluoridate our pineal gland is because your pineal gland is your spiritual apparatus. Your pineal gland is the way you connect to your soul and the aether. Now, the aether that you might have heard about in, you know, all the old science films back in black and whites and that, and you read old books about all these crazy scientists and, you know, Tesla and this, that, the other. And they'd all be talking about the aether. And that was their theory back then for what how electricity may travel through air, this, that, the other. Well, that was soon knocked on the head in the 1800s because the ether was exactly, it is true that the ether is a real thing. But we don't get, so we're in a third density. See, a fifth density ether in a fifth density is going to be much different to a third. It's like a Sega Mega Drive. Yeah, the games console isn't as good as an Xbox One, is it? Obviously, because things progress. Yeah, so ethers progress. There's more technology. Everything's artificial in the universe. There isn't anything natural. There's no naturally occurring anything. It's all artificial. The universe itself isn't artificial, but everything else inside it is. And that's why we won't be having med beds. Now, med beds were available 80 years ago for the elite. The elite of the elite got to go in a med bed. Yeah, they look far out in space age, and everyone's looking forward to getting in one. But you ain't going to get in one. They're not going to be released because they're not going to exist where we're going. So to go from a third density environment to a fifth density environment, it's not a solar event, right? That's a coronal mass ejection. That's just more bullshit, more fucking heliocentric nonsense. It's just fear because you think, oh, they told you in all 1922 or 25, was it? There was the largest coronal mass ejection and it wiped out America's power lines. You know, when they done the Morse code, all the Morse code lines all caught fire and there's a load of history backing it up. It's bullshit. It didn't happen. It's bullshit. There is no coronal mass ejection. There are no CMEs. There are none. The sun isn't a ball of gas. It's not. it's plasma. It's crystalline plasma technology. The sun's very safe. Yeah, it's a bit warm, but but it's not like you think. Nothing is like you think. Nothing that you eat is like you think. Nothing that you want to go is nothing. Nothing that you learn is what you think. And the whole point of all of this bullshit was to hide the fact of what's behind the ice wall so that they can stay here and drink your children's blood and sell it. It's their currency. It's their fourth density currency is adrenochrome. Yeah, the Draco use it to shapeshift in a third density environment. The celebrities use it to get high. Um, so the Draco, the ones, the Alpha Draco, they hold the energy from adrenochrome. They store that in their between their shoulder blades at the back, between their wings. They've got two non-used wings. I think the Omicron Draco, I think Christian said they can fly, or they have bigger wings. I'm not sure if they can fly or if they have bigger wings. They're very real. They might look like fucking 14-foot crocodiles, and I haven't seen one, but I know they're real. I think a lot of you out there know they're real, but we haven't seen one. I hadn't seen a ghost, and I thought they were real, and they're not. Yeah, that whole thing is more bullshit. I've been through that before. Christians talked about it loads as well. The Invisibles. It's a grey outfit. It's a grey operation. The greys are responsible for you smelling cigars and you smelling the perfume of your nan and thinking that's your nan near you. It's not. It's a grey, and it's the greys that all the when people see ghosts and all that shit, that's greys. They're either planting that in your mind that you saw that. The greys are the most telepath. I think our normal bodies are more telepathic from what Christian said, but the greys, if you're in, fourth density, the greys are the most telepathic beings. A grey could make you walk off a cliff, could make you walk outside your house, get a gun, and kill yourself just with using their mind. And they can put any image they want in your head. And that's why you get these screen memories from abductions when people will think that they'll be under hypnosis and they'll say, oh, I saw an owl, or and there's like tens of thousands of people that saw a white stag, and it's like, well, that's a bit fucking random, isn't it? And how come so many people saw that? And it's a screen memory. The Greys don't want you to remember what they were doing when they were fiddling around with you and taking your DNA and that. So they just give you a screen memory of an owl or whatever. That's how it works anyway. So they're highly telepathic and they can make you do whatever. And fucking, one second, one second. Shit. Hello again. Sorry, that's what I was saying. Fifth density. So I'm terrible. I digress. I've only got to think about something else, and that's me. My mind goes blank. So before that happens again, fifth density. Yeah. So everything outside the ice wall is fifth density. And that's what they show you in all of the films, all of the sci-fi films, Stargate, everything, every film that is sci-fi, fantasy, all that genre is all what is actually outside the ice wall and all on the other planets that exist. Now, that's going to be pretty shocking for a lot of people. And I mean, the EBS isn't going to be about what's behind the ice wall. The EBS is just going to be about what's happened here. The ETs, the malevolent ETs. Um, you're going to see Alpha Draco shapeshifting for yourself, or you'll see, I think Christian said Sylvester Stallone is one that you'll see shapeshifting. And he's a different type of ET. I think that's why they're going to show you him shapeshifting. I don't think he's your average Alpha or Omicron Draco. I think he's another sort of fucked up ET sort of thing. But anyway, um, so fifth density is where the universe starts at. See, when they turned up and they flooded the realm, froze it. So when they flooded it, there was two great floods, and that was when they first flooded it. The water came in, sunk Atlantis. Atlantis is the other side of the ice wall, by the way. There's no point looking for Atlantis here, right? Now, what they thought was Atlantis is just another sunken city from a previous reset. That's all. It's just wherever it is or whatever they found. It ain't Atlantis because it's outside near Hyperborea. See, it's in the northern. Anyway, oh, it's not what I was talking about. What was I saying? Fifth density. So there's no greed, no anger, no hate, no jealousy, no cynicism, no criticism, no spite, no revenge in fifth density. That is the reason why when the universe and the beings that lived in it, which are you and me and everybody else here as well, when we reached a point of technological supremacy billions of years ago, not recently, a long time ago, billions of years ago, we were already what we hope to one day become. Way, way ago, epochs ago, we were already what we were really hoping we'd become one day. We were already that. See, when they turned up and put created the new ice wall. When they froze the realm to create that ice wall, that was the Ice Age. That's why there's mammoths frozen in permafrost with buttercups in their mouth, because it was an instant. The same technology that freezes shit is EMF, right? In fourth density upwards, the technology is totally different. That's why when the parasites came here, when they changed our realm, so the pyramids, the Great Pyramid in Egypt, and all the massive pyramids, they were all built before 6,014 years ago when these dickheads turned up. They're all built in fifth density. That's how come they were built like that. You couldn't build them now in third density. Well, if you had fifth density technology, you could, but we haven't. That's why we don't know how they built them, because they were built really easily, actually. It didn't take long at all. Probably didn't take a couple of days, to be honest, because it was built in fifth density. Fifth density is like magic. If you're in third density, fourth density is magic. You know, it's like in the synopsis I gave that analogy of Stickman. You know, Stickman on a bit of paper, yeah, and Stickman can see out the front and he can see out the back, but his left and right reality is only as thick as the grain of paper. So if Stickman looks left or right, all he can see, that's his field of view. It's like less than a millimeter thick. So, for instance, if Stickman was on here looking right or left, and you went like this with your hand across the edge of the paper, Stickman can't see you with your hand. Stickman can see four little pink things, and then another little pink thing, and then a big pink thing. Yeah, as his field of view is only as wide as that paper. So things outside your density, your reality, you don't have anything to associate it with. Yeah, but their technology, so that's what I was saying. The pyramids were all built in fifth density, so it was very easy to make the pyramids. All of these religious sites, or whatever you think they're called, and whatever they weren't difficult to build. They didn't take back in donkey's years and all that. It was very quick, and they were built before they even arrived. So when they changed this fifth density to a third density simulation, yeah, now they're fourth density. We were fifth density. Yeah, everyone in this realm now was fifth density. Yeah. Then the Draco turned up with the parasites and the greys and the ancient demons, and they took Looking Glass, yeah. Now Looking Glass, that's a whole another story. Now look, I don't want to digress. I'm thinking, no, I'll try and remember that. I'll try and remember. I won't, but I'll try. So when they turned up and they put the new matrix in, which is a third density matrix. So the matrix is like the nuts and bolts of your reality. It's the simulation environment, the interaction between your pineal gland, the law of one, which every species uses outside of our ice wall. They're all interconnected. We are all interconnected. We just don't know. And because of our fluoridated pineal gland, poisoned with food and water and fluoride and all sorts of shit, and the childhood immunization program, because of all that, we don't have any use of our pineal gland. Now, your pineal gland is really important. It's the way you communicate with the ether. So in fifth density, when you're walking along, the ether of the fifth density, so like the air, if you will, it like electric, it's almost like a mild, I won't say a mild electricity. It's information, energy, and communication is the ether. Now we've got one here, but it's crap. It's a third density ether, and it doesn't do much. And with no pineal gland and no spiritual apparatus, you can't use it. So you don't have telepathy here. You don't have all of the things that we used to have here, and you've got a really small lifespan here. So yeah, so when they turned up and they froze everything, they flash froze the entire realm with EMF technology because that's how it's done. It's instant. That's how they turn the giants to stone. All these mountains that you people go, oh, it looks like a giant lying down. Yeah, it is. That was an Anakim giant. They were here trying to save your ass as well. Yeah, the giants that no one believes exists. These fuckers were 200 meters tall, and they're the ones that are portrayed in the Game of Thrones. You know, they're massive. Yeah, them ones. Um, yeah, so basically they downsized us. So your body that you're in right now is nothing like the one that you were in before. The little blue light, your little Tony Stark blue light in your chest was in a much taller body. Well, probably. A lot of people here were Pleiadian, Andromedan, I think Christian was saying, but most we've been shrunk. And they show you all that in films where you see that like mini me and not mini me. What's that? There's loads of films where you've got little tiny people. They've been shrunk down with like whatever technology or a drug or whatever. I saw one recently. I think Matt Damon was in it. Some little Norway film with people living underground in Anyway, midgets, little tiny people like this big. But that's just more showing you in plain sight that they've downsized you. All films show you everything. All films show you the truth. You just don't see it as the truth because you think you're watching fiction and fantasy. Now, what happens when you go into the sun and you come out the back of the sun? So when that third firmament went up, the closest firmament, there's three. Third one, closest to you, you're here. The third one is a frequency fence also. Well, all firmaments are. The firmaments are crystalline plasma technology. That's why they talk about the waters above the firmament. And you think, well, what's above it? Are we under the ocean or something? No, no. It's if you impact the firmament, it's liquid crystalline technology. It will look like a ripple. It will look like a wave. It's pliable, yeah, and nothing can penetrate it. You couldn't get a physical object through a firmament. You can get an energetic object through a firmament, and the right soul frequency vibration will also allow you to access certain other realms because all of the people here are special. You're special. You don't realize what you are. You're far, far more than you could ever imagine. You see all these Marvel characters and all these sci-fi fiction fantasy films with all these amazing characters that can do everything. You've got Doctor Dolittle that can talk to the animals. You've got fucking Tony Stark flying about in the air. You've got the Incredible Hulk, strong as fuck. You've got all these superheroes and these super that's all what you could do. All right, you might not need a metal suit to do it, but they're showing you in plain sight everything. They're just taunting you. They don't like you. They don't like anyone. They don't like nothing. They hate humans. They absolutely despise you. They would rather, they would rather you died in agony for eternity without dying. But that can't happen because luckily for us, Source put something in us called, what do you call it? The fuck, I forgot. Was it like fight or flight? You get a heart attack. Once you're in too much pain. That's why they can only keep like a skilled witch, yeah, can keep like a 4-year-old alive for about 3 or 4 days, and that's torturing them 3 or 4 hours a day for 3 or 4 days, and then the child dies in agony of a heart attack. Now, a skilled witch using some medication, they don't like to use too much painkillers because it spoils the adrenochrome. But a skilled witch can keep that child with no skin on its body, yeah, think about that for a minute. No skin on its body, skinned alive, yeah, for 3 or 4 days, whilst being raped, sometimes with broken bottles and bits of wood and hammers. Yeah, so that's what these fuckers do. And the reason they have to do that, they have to. They can't not do it. Once you've sold your soul, you ain't in there anyway. You're in your body, like I said before, but you're a bystander in your own life. Now these other fuckers, the demons, yeah, sorry, the Draco and the whatever the type, whatever's in them, they have to do that because the demons that are ultimately the ones in control of this realm and have been for 6,014 years, not anymore, not since 2019, at the latest. Uh, they don't eat food; they eat energy. Now, they don't want good energy. They don't want kids throwing buttercups at them and running around skipping and playing. They're demons. The whole point of a demon is to be the absolute polar opposite of anything good. Yeah, that's the whole point. Yeah, because they didn't return to source. They didn't. They wanted to become their own source. So a demon is an ancient being, just like you, just like me, just like everyone else, that one day just thought, you know what, fuck this, I could do better. And then went off and met some more demons of people that thought, you know what, fuck this, we can do better. And they formed their own little collective. And they're ancient. They're billions of years old. They're the second most knowledge entities in the entire universe. And they're a pain in the arse. And it's because of them that this happened to us, because we were fifth density. The Draco were fourth density. A Draco trying to take a fourth density being, trying to have a row with a fifth density being, it's just not going to happen. It's like a 2-year-old trying to rob you in town with a Stanley knife. You're just going to go, fuck off. You know, that was what would have happened, and it did. They tried this 7 times before this happened, and then they got in contact with the demons, and the demons made sure it happened because they're savvy as fuck. So the demons need energy. Now, their energy, yeah, is the pain and suffering of is the physical manifestation of pain and suffering. It's called loosh. Yeah, that's the nickname for the energy that demons feed. Now, you sitting in a car in a traffic jam on the M25, or you having a row with your missus, or whatever, negative emotion generates loosh. All negative emotion. That's why we shouldn't be negative. No, we live in third density, so it's part of living in third density is negativity. You just got to put up with it and try and fight through it. But they need to eat the energy, and they that can only come from them. The most purest form of that is adrenochrome. Sorry, is from a human child. Now, one of the byproducts of that is adrenochrome. So it's a win-win for them. The demon gets the loosh, yeah, and then the celebrities and the Draco get the adrenochrome. Now, the demons, they're just out there to cause trouble. They're going to be the opposite of good all day long for eternity. It's never going to change. And they will always be there. They're still there, but they're nowhere near here. This is a completely safe area now. There's Gateway 10. All 14,000 worlds are completely free of any negativity. Another thing that the Draco were doing and the parasites were doing was interfering because they had a controlling hand in 77% of 14,000 worlds. 77% of 14,000 worlds they had a hand in. So all these other realms were all shitting themselves. Yeah, all of them, and they're fifth density. But the thing is, because the Draco came here with the demons and the knowledge of the demons, they were able to trick everyone really easy. Because well, it is a good thing. The good thing about fifth density is everyone is really innocent. We're ancient beings, but no one is. They're like children. They don't want to harm you. They're like a school playing field of happy kids. That's fifth density beings. But the Draco, they're not. They're terrible. You don't want to knock about with none of them. They're fucking. Well, look what's happened. Hey, you turned into a tin of salmon on a shelf in a Draco Tesco's. That's what we are. We're here for food. And it doesn't sound nice. People want to think, no, no, because they spent their whole life researching whatever their chosen field is and deep space telemetry, let's just say, or astrophysics. And that is their knowledge and their ability and their intellect defines them. What they know, I know loads of people that define themselves on their knowledge base, and unfortunately, these are going to be the people worst affected when this EBS comes out because they're going to realise very quickly, with no ambiguity, that they've been lied to about everything, and their world's going to fracture. And that's what the foreign military are here for. Um, uh, because the shit is gonna hit the fan, the fucking big time. Now I know a lot of people that don't even know what the EBS is, and I've got a couple of mates that have asked me about 15 times. What does that mean again? I'm like, really? Do you know what I mean? Okay, so when the EBS comes, people are going to be shocked. There's not many people that won't be. Anyone that's been following Christian for the last couple of years, they ain't going to be shocked. Well, they are, obviously, because we don't know the content of the EBS. It's likely to be the missing parts of that Janet Ossenbard. It's going to be in there somewhere, I think, is probably quite likely because that was an excellent way of getting people to wake up. She done a brilliant series there. So when people find out about what's actually gone on, like I say, on the EBS, there'll be none of this what's beyond the ice walls and stuff. All of that information. See, the best thing about Christian's information is that it's peace of mind for anyone that was worried, like everyone is. Yeah, when you actually know the truth and it's resonating, it's like, oh, thank God for that. It really is. It's a sigh of relief. I'm not worried about nothing. I'm excited. It's not that I'm not worried. I'm keenly looking forward to this. And the EBS is, I don't like watching blood and guts, so the EBS ain't going to be a bit of me. But um, yeah, we all need to see it. And then what's going to happen shortly after that? You see, a lot of my other pals as well, we're all talking about, see, they're really awake, but they're talking about moving forward in the future. Yeah, the EBS, yeah, the 3D to 5D, but what are we going to do to topple those in power now? And it's like, well, what we're doing is we're basically dancing around a fucking handbag at the moment on a stage, and we're just waiting for closing time. Is all we're doing. There's no point planning for the fucking future, consciousness, communities. It all sounds great, but when you get your memories back in the EMF, which is going to be just after the EBS, so the EBS, just to recap, in case no one knows, the EBS, Emergency Broadcast System, Emergency Broadcast Service, one or the other. It's a 10-day lockdown period is pegged for. They're going to be a 3-day power cut, as we've discussed many times. 3-day power cut into a 10-day lockdown. Now the 10-day lockdown will be cut short because after 2 or 3 days of the EBS. When the power comes back on, the EBS will start, and then it's an 8-hour documentary played 3 times a day back to back for 24 hours for 10 days. But after day 3 or 2, or probably on day 1, most people are going to be so fucking angry, and I'm saying that really calmly. I don't want to show anger on, you know, but they're going to go fucking nuts. Yeah. Like literally mental breakdowns left, right, and center. That's coming, right? It's not maybe it is, maybe it isn't. No, that's coming. We wouldn't have heard of adrenochrome. You wouldn't have heard of an ancient demon. You wouldn't have heard what red shoes were if this wasn't coming. It would still be a secret and we'd be fucking oblivious to it. No one would have. We've all seen red shoes. Yeah, it must be something to do with the Pope and Catholicism and must be something religious. And then you see like other famous people with a pair. Just as one example. See, the problem with this is the list of crimes is so long. People ain't going to get. They'll never be able to read the list of crimes out before the EMF happens. You'll be standing there for fucking 6 months reading constant crimes out because it's been going on for so long. That's what the revelations are. The revelations of the apocalypse. Now, apocalypse doesn't mean the end of the world. They lied about that as well. Oh, that's a shock. The apocalypse means the revealing of that which was previously obscured. Now, what was previously obscured is everything in your paradigm. Your paradigm's fake. It doesn't exist. What you think is reality isn't. That's going to be shocking for a lot of people as well, thinking about it. Do you know what I mean? Fuck the red shoes. Everything you thought was real, everything you aspired to, every one of your goals and dreams and aspirations and wants and needs, and everything you loved and hated, everything you despised, is all bullshit. Everything you learn, everything you learn. The most important things are the things that you didn't learn. They're the things that really matter, and you don't even know them yet. You don't even know what they are. Now, this is coming in a minute. There's been a lot. I mean, the only thing Christian 21 got wrong was dates. Literally, give him a break. Come on, fuck me. Yeah, it's a lot to ask, but it's not like he's sitting there with a fucking button, is it? Do you know what I mean? We'd have pressed this button long ago, but obviously we're not in control. Really clever people are. They know what they're doing, and they've got this. But another thing that people ain't getting, you see, I was having an argument 2 years ago with a friend of mine, lovely woman, not an argument, but she was telling me Trump was a Luciferian, and I'm like, was he? Fuck. Anyway, no, he was. He fucking was. Amy, I'm sorry, mate, but you were right. I was wrong. So, yeah, bless her. So, no, he was. But Q is still real. The whole thing is still good and real. But the original Donald Trump was a proper wrong 'un. That's why Hillary Clinton was so shocked when they he was meant to be in on their act with them because as far as they knew, he was one of them. Yeah. That's like the whole colour racial divide. They're all multicultural. The cabal, Jesus Christ, the fucking demons, and they don't care if they're in a trans host. They want to be in a trans host. Their god is a tranny god. Yeah, they want to be. A demon doesn't have a gender. There are no male and female demons. A demon is a demon. Yeah, they don't have a gender. They don't want a gender. So that's why you've got LGBTQ, which should be really obvious by now. You've got LGBTQ because the demons who were in control of this planet up till 2019 don't like a gender. They want to be in a genderless body. So all you people out there thinking you're cutting new fucking ways and territory, oh look, I'm gonna have a beard and purple hair and foundation and lipstick and work in Tesco's. Crack on with that. But you're gonna be very, very upset soon. Everyone is. Jesus Christ, you know what? You didn't eat meat. You're going to be healing for just about that. ETs don't eat meat. Maybe in fourth density they do, but there ain't many in fourth density. There's only like it's more wildlife in fourth density and animals in fourth density and the parasites, obviously, because they can never get into fifth density. That's another reason this happened. They can't ever get into fifth density. They remain in fourth for eternity because to get into fifth density, you've got to have the frequency of unconditional love. And they haven't got that. Killing kids, it's not really, doesn't really gel with unconditional love. So they'll never get into fifth density. Yeah. They hate you. That's one of the reasons they hate you because you're much more than they ever will be. You were much more than they could ever be. You are still now in this shit body with a reduced lifespan. You're still more than they could ever be. All right, they've got better technology and they've got more telepathy. Yeah, but they haven't got humanity. They don't give a shit about nothing. They're uncaring, and they know that, and there's nothing they can do about it. So, 1 second. I've done it again. Hang on. One sec. Yeah, sorry about that. I've done it again. So, yeah, fifth density. So, before these guys turned up, yeah, so 6,014 years ago, yeah, before they turned up, every single person here, and there wasn't many of us, a few hundred thousand back then, yeah, few hundred thousand. Now, to give you an idea of species populations, Pleiadian civilization as a whole is billions and billions of years old, yeah, and there's only a billion, 1 billion. It's about a billion people, yeah, and they live on like 7 planets and here, yeah, a billion people. Now, in only 6,014 years, they've turned a few hundred thousand people into 10 billion people. Now, the world isn't overpopulated, nowhere near it. That's all bullshit as well. But that's a lot of people. The reason for that is because you are food. They need as many that so a little blue light floating about in a realm underneath a firmament is of no use to them whatsoever. There's nothing they can do with it. When you put that little blue light into a small child and you can terrorize the living shit out of it, then for them, jackpot. Jackpot. So now they need to worry about how can we fucking pull this off without them knowing. All right, we wipe their mind when they're reborn, so they don't know what the fuck's going on. But we need to keep them occupied because although they've only got a 2.2 brain capacity now, although they've only got 2.2% brain capacity, they're smart as fuck. We still are. We even with a 2.2% brain capacity, look what we can do. Look what people can invent and come up with. They parasites can't do that. They don't invent shit. That's like they show you in Stargate. They show you a lot of truth in Stargate. The Goa'uld, the parasites, as they call them in Stargate, yeah, they don't invent stuff. They go around stealing other people's technology and robbing it and using it for their own. And that's all they can do because they're thick as shit. They're not very bright. You don't have a reptilian brain. That's bullshit. The only part of a human that's reptilian is the core, like Christian was saying. Don't want to digress. Where was I? Um, yeah, so when they turned up, they they got our bot, so they flash froze us, flooded us, flash froze us, and then they created some dinosaurs. The Velociraptor, T Rex, we'll come to that later. The Velociraptor, for instance, any meat eating fast dinosaur was real. Yeah, these fucking massive things that have like diplodocus and all that, they're all bullshit. All these vegetarian eating tops of trees eating dinosaurs, it's all bullshit. Now they're all fake bones, and oh yeah, how can you fake fossils? They're fake fossils. They're laser etched fossils. Maybe the other side of the dome they've got better than a laser, but trust me, they're fake. Fossils of all this shit, they're all fake. You'll get some real fossils, like you'll get a seashell and that, this, that, and the other, but you're not. They've never found a complete skeleton of a T. Anyway, I don't want to digress. But I'm terrible for that. Um, so they need to work out. Right, we've downsized them. We've got them small. We've got them stupid. How are we going to keep this shit from them? How are we going to keep them occupied? Because they're bright. They're very switched on. These new humans with their very small brain capacity and tiny stature. They're going to need to be occupied. So for this reset, sort of sixth to seventh, we're only really just started the sixth reset. Really, we're only a few 1890 say until now. 90, we're a couple of hundred years. So we're only a couple of hundred years into the sixth reset. So the previous reset, they may have had a different set of goals to achieve, or adrenochrome being the main one, but they may have had different like societal mechanics going on for everyone to believe in and all that. Who knows what they had all the Tartarians believing in? But oh shit, hang on. Sorry about that. Oh, I forgot again, didn't I? Fucking typical, innit? Eh? Terrible memory. But what I was saying was, after they back engineered us and that, and put you in a different body. So the original people that created this vessel that you're in now, and also your original vessel that you've had for a fucking long time, was a group of beings called the Aktun, Aktun, and there was five of those beings called the Five Masters. And those guys, they show you this in plain sight. They show you who created the DNA and who put your DNA together to create you and you're the vessel that you was originally, in films, as they always do. E.T., the movie E.T., the Acton, a species, look like that. which isn't too dissimilar from how the Builder race used to look when they were uh, a few ascension cycles before when they were progressing. They looked kind of similar to that sort of thing. So, but that was the Acton who the Five Masters created your original vessel, which was made from 22 species of 100. I think the Acton were given 100 species of ET to make the perfect new human. Now, by new human, I mean the new hominoid. So the latest hominoid, yeah, the dog's bollocks hominoid was your original body 6,014 years ago. That's what you had. It was the bollocks. You're a lot taller if you're a Pleiadian. You're like 9 foot tall. Women 7 foot tall. All sorts of abilities, telekinesis, bilocation, all sorts, levitation, all the things you see in the fucking Marvel comics and all that sort of stuff is all what you normally had and used on a daily basis. Same as portals. Portal technology, you've been through more portals than you've sat in a car, but you can't remember because of the amnesia vortex. Every time you die, you go, yeah, and your mind's wiped. The only thing that you know when you come out of the amnesia vortex as a mind wiped soul is your sex. The only thing you can remember is that you need to get in a vessel, any vessel. No, no, I'm sorry, not any vessel. You know the sex you were and always have been, yeah, and you can inhabit any vessel, is what I mean. You can be put into any vessel, or you can actually go into any vessel. If you were a male, you could actually go into a female. You wouldn't. Your soul wouldn't. Your soul knows not to. It just knows not to. The Draco can put male souls in female bodies and vice versa, and did to cause chaos and confusion and to help the whole tranny movement along and the whole, getting men having sex with men and women, vice versa, all that sort of shit. They needed to obviously do that to a few to get the momentum going, But I don't want to digress. So yeah, keeping with when you come back in here and you're born again with no memories except you knew that you had to be like male or female and you needed a vessel. That's the only two things you knew. So once you're born and you grow up and you're in the indoctrination system, they need to keep you occupied because if even with your reduced brain capacity to only 2.2%, if anyone starts to work this out, that whole monkey thing would work, and people would wake up. Now, when we wake up en masse, we're a serious problem for them. They can't deal with that because they need to keep us subdued, which is another reason for the childhood immunization program and the shit foods is to keep us subdued and stupid. That's all we're there for. We're not supposed to be thinking outside the box. We're not supposed to be, we all think we're here trying to work out how to leave the planet's surface before the next 500 million years and the sun burns out. We're all thinking that we're striving towards the betterment of mankind. It's all fake. It's all subterfuge, smoke and mirrors. That's not what you're doing at all. You think you're contributing to society and not parking on double yellows because it's the right thing to do because that could be needed for access or a disabled person might, whatever it is excuse you have for obeying the laws that we have to obey, or some of us decide not to, whatever excuse that you have in your mind, when you sit there and actually think about it, and then you realize, well, not just thinking about it, you have to have the keys to unlock the bigger picture to this, and that's Christian 21's information. I love him for that. I'm so grateful for that information because it is serious peace of mind. Yeah, all I do all day long is watch headless chickens run around, like people I speak to, or not necessarily mates, but everybody else. Do you know what I mean? And some mates they'll see something on the news and trip right out about it, but they're not seeing the bigger picture because even for them, who are well awake as fuck, it's too fantastical. A fifth density reality and thinking that Stargate might have some truth in it. That's for the people in white jackets. Still to them. So, but that's gonna, like I was saying before, we're like dancing around fucking handbags on a stage at the end of the fucking night out, and we're just waiting for the EMF. After the EMF comes, we'll get our memories back. All fucking, well, I think 1,000 years ish to start with. Depends on what you can handle back, and that will all be determined by your vibration at the event. So when the EMF comes, So, like I was saying before, the 3 day power cut, then 10-day lockdown, and a day or four of people actually being locked down before they think, fuck this, and go outside looking for someone that looks like they work for the NHS, or a doctor, or a teacher, or a solicitor. They're all in on it. Every magistrate, all of them, the whole fucking lot. I don't know about, your newly qualified magistrate, but anyway, well, no, probably, I mean, to be a magistrate, you're going to have to. I know that all judges are involved and all the top judiciary, all the whole thing from fucking senior barrister up, right away fucking up. They're all involved, all of them. There isn't one that isn't. So they all know about the scam. Whether they're drinking children's blood or not is another matter that I don't know, but they're all involved in it. So they're all traitors. Yeah, this is what they'll all be filling up the FEMA camps before, or just as the EBS is called. So the whole point for this working for them, we've got a white mind, but we can still think, and people do find things and see unusual stuff and talk about it. And if everyone starts talking about unusual, weird stuff 200 years ago, they're fucked again. So they need to keep you occupied. So this is why you have parking tickets, speeding fines, school, uh, why you have a job. You've got to be busy and fucking knackered. By the time you get home, you're going to have 2.4 children, let's say for argument's sake, or no children. You're going to be busy anyway. Definitely, if you're living in the 21st century, you're going to be busy. There's no way around it. Fuck me, I was homeless and fucking busy. I was like the most busy homeless person you ever met. Anyway, they need to make sure that you are completely, your time is, you're too knackered. You come home from work, you're fucked. You've got to think, oh shit, I've got that to pay tomorrow. I've got a dentist appointment on Thursday. I've got to get the car done on Monday. Kids are going, this, that, the other. And it's all your little paradigm. It's all these pointless things that we don't need. And it's all based around pointlessness. Like the kids don't actually need to go to school. School's shit and it's indoctrinating them. You don't need to go to work because you already own your Sesta KV bond, which is the fucking thing that pays for all your NHS treatment anyway, and all of your everything, all your finance, all your mortgages. You don't owe the bank no money. When you got your mortgage out or your wedding ring on finance or a holiday or a bank loan, that was your Sesta KV bond. That's the other part of the scam. And that's done by consent as well, and they show you in plain sight all this shit. You've got the magistrate sitting there with a wig on. What's the wig made of? Wool. Where's that from? A sheep. Meh. A wolf in sheep's clothing, yeah? That's what the judge is. And they're showing you in plain sight, yeah? It's right in your face, but you can't see it. And people are waking up now, yeah? And that is the revelations, the apocalypse, yeah? The revealing of that which was previously obscure. So another thing I was going to say was source creation, what I was talking about before, is not synonymous with the gods of Abraham, Isaac, and of Jacob. That's nothing to do with anything. They've done that, and they took the whole biblical idea and all of the religions, yeah, even the good ones, they're all demonic in nature. They're all control mechanisms. For the good people, you've got God or Allah or whatever, the deity or the chosen, yeah. And then for the negative people of your culture, you've got Satan or Lucifer or uh, fucking Baal or whatever. You've got all them, yeah? Now, both of those options are actually fake. There's no God like we know what you'd think of as God and in church and da 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 da. Yeah, there ain't none of that. That God doesn't exist in that capacity. God doesn't exist at all like that. That's not what God is. They took the concept of God from source creation. Yeah. But what there is the demons, the ancient demons that can mimic anything, that do mimic anything, that were here for a long time. That there's millions, millions of them all over the universe. They are real. So they come in with the brain, the mindset, and they set up good and bad, left and right. So whatever religion you are, you've got the good side, yeah, or you've got like the outcasts of people that don't believe in it or that fucking, worship that type of Satan or whatever it is in that culture. So they're both fake anyway. So even the whole argument that everyone's fighting over and colour and race and all that lot cabal and Freemasons, there's no colour divide with them. There's no racial divide. If you're one of them, you're one of them. You're the brotherhood. And they know that we are all one. And that's why there is the law of one, because they know that we are all one. And point 49 on the Rothschild Secret Covenant, it says, I haven't got it, I've got it off the screen now, but it says basically that they must make sure that we never find out the truth that we're all one. And that is exactly right. And people need to wake up to that. People really do now. Ultimately, it doesn't matter really at the end of the day. This isn't a life or death situation. Not necessarily. It will be for some people that make stupid decisions based on fear and not knowing the truth. Now, that's the whole point of the truth. Now, you ain't going to find the truth out on telly, or probably, oh well, not really on the internet, but there's only one person I'm aware of that's ever said any of this, and that's Christian 21. So, all right, the internet is where yeah, but I would get up to speed on what's going on, because it's going to make the impact and the severity of the trauma a whole lot less. So people will be able to heal a bit quicker, you know what I mean, and won't make stupid decisions and cause themselves loads of grief and put themselves in danger and their family in danger by making stupid decisions based on fear. Um, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, membranes. So the membranes. So when they take the firmament down, which will come down at some point, this third one, the one closest to us, we're going to see that everything ain't all that far away. All of what the space is big, it's fuck off big, but it's not like they say. Our closest neighbours, they're just you could throw a stone at them. It's like they show you that in computer games, and you'll get a computer game with different like realms. That's how it is. They're all dotted about like that in close proximity. That's what a constellation is. It's a proximity of Sol family planets and other, all intermingling. That's a constellation. And a constellation's also the same down here. Do you know, I was thinking the other day as well. The Egyptians had that concept, didn't they, of as above, so below. Well, if you think about it, that is Gateway 10. Gateway 10 is as above, so below. Gateway 10 is 14,000 worlds got together and decided, why don't we make one planet with 14,000 of our little realms? So we've all got a realm down there as well as our home planet. As above, so below. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? They're fuckers, aren't they? Fucking Anunnaki scumbags. Honestly. Mm. So even all these things like Michio Kaku, Professor Michio Kaku, whatever his name is, and his type 1, type 2, type 3 civilizations, and type 1 is you've harnessed the power of your star or whatever, and type 2 and this, that, the other. All bullshit. 33rd degree Mason. Just like old Buzz Aldrin. Yeah? Old fucking 666 Buzz. Full of shit twat. Anyway, Michio Kaku, Brian Cox, 33rd degree Masonic child killers. That's why they've got their own show. That's why they're so famous. That's why you ever heard of them. And that's why they're talking bullshit universes, solar systems, spinny stuff, balls of gas. All bullshit. All bullshit. And the reason that this is all bullshit is because of Looking Glass. So right, Tesla and Alice in Wonderland and Looking Glass, this, that, the other. So Tesla didn't invent Looking Glass. Looking Glass is an ET. It comes with the realm. It comes with the realm. It's like a console. So you can set, it's a very, 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 very advanced console. You can even then interact with people's individual life experiences with Looking Glass. Yeah, you can time travel with it. All space, all UFOs, craft, you can time travel in all of them. Yeah. With Looking Glass, this is where uh, Nostradamus came from, who was with a name like Michelle. He was probably a fucking tranny himself, but he was a Draco, Alpha Draco. He's hosted Draco, so they had Looking Glass. So that's how come he knew all this shit coming, and then they decided to put shit in to do because you can also do that, program stuff into it as well. That's how come that all the twin flames and soulmates will end up in close proximity at the EMF, which is jumping ahead a bit. I'll come to that after. But what was I saying? Oh, yeah. Pardon me. Um, when they take the firmament away, you're going to find out that the reason that the sun and the moon are in the other firmament, in the other realm, yeah, which is where the moon and the sun are, you can see straight. The firmaments are so advanced that you wouldn't see it. You can't see it. You can see it from the outside looking in because you'll see the light coming out in space, but you ain't going to see it looking out because it's dark out there and you ain't going to see fuck all. So when they take that one away, the reason that they're in realm two is because they use the firmaments, yeah, to lens things, yeah, like a telescope. They can make things come in, they can make the sun. That's why the sun, sometimes you see the moon, and the moon is fuck off in front of you, like big fucking moon. And other times it's like a little dot miles away. That's because they're using there's three firmaments. They use all three to distort your vision so that you think sometimes things are nearer or closer than they actually are. Yeah, we said before about the moon and the morning star and the planet Venus. So the projector that say that's a torch. We've done this before in it, but the The moon, there is a physical object behind the moon. It's a space station. It's like a fucking load of battered old metal. Yeah, it looks like the Death Star, or it did do. They destroyed that one and they put another one there. I'm not sure if it's smaller or what. But the thing is, the they need to project the hologram onto something, which is why that's there. Yeah. So that's what the moon is, and that's what the moon always has been. The morning star, if you look at them, you'll see, if you look, I notice if you have a look at the moon on a clear night and you'll see a little star immediately to the right or to the left. Sometimes it's below, somewhere, yeah. And sometimes, only since Christian mentioned it, I've never thought to look. I swear to, I nearly said it, swear to source, yeah, you can see the light cone off the fucking star when it's reasonably close. Sometimes it's farther away, sometimes it's nearer. Say that's the moon. This star will be here or here or here. It's never here, I notice, yeah. It's always like way down here or like here. Have a look. And then look where the phases of the moon, and then after a few days, if you get a clear enough night, you will see the light come. You can see it. It's like that's really embarrassing. That's probably one of the most embarrassing things that most people are going to notice immediately or think of it immediately. If you do go out there and look on a clear night, you're going to go, "Oh my God, he was right." Because when Christian said that, I was like, "What?" I went out and had a look, and it was 3 clear nights, and I'm like, "My God, that's true." Fuck. So it's crazy. The level of subterfuge that they've gone to is fucking ridiculous. That's how come all of the top truthers and all of the fucking whistleblowers and all that, not the top truthers, but all of the whistleblowers and all of the alternative history and all of the Emmanuel Velikovsky's Worlds in Collision and Charles H. Hapgood and his explanation. Fantastic. Fucking fantastic. Fantastic delusion. Very, very clever trickery. They're very clever, but they're 33rd degree Masons. So they're in every sector, in every industry, in every annal of history. Annal, I'm not sure. They're all over the place. They're through everywhere at every time. And it's always like the Smithsonian, for instance. Fucking hell. Do you know what I mean? They're the Vatican of history. Yeah? Just run by 33rd degree Masons. And it's all bullshit. That's why they got rid of all the giants. Why was Abraham Lincoln talking about the, is it Mind Unveiled? Done that brilliant thing on giants? Fucking fantastic. There was loads of clippings, newspaper articles about giants and from over the years and that, all like fucking loads of articles. And Abraham Lincoln actually gave a, or wrote a paper or an article on it himself. Amazing. But anyway, so well, this is part of the revelations, isn't it? This is part, just one little tiny bit of the revelations that are coming out, like now and ongoing. So yeah, reason there'll be no med beds, no tier one, two, three redemption bonds, which millions of people are really desperately waiting for, and it all sounds really credible, is because when you go from third density even into fourth, or we ain't going to fourth, we're going to fifth plus. So going into a higher density, an object or a person from third density, our DNA is limited. We can't make that. It's like trying to put an Apple Mac program in a Windows computer. It's not compatible. It ain't going to work. Yeah. Sometimes people did get out through the ice wall, and if you went out through the summer gate and you was lucky and you went to the Ancestral Republic and got your DNA fixed, you'd be all right. Yeah. Like Admiral Butler and what's his face did. It's gone out of my head. But anyway, so going from a different, so that's the reason the pyramids are here, right? So you can see the pyramids because they were built in fifth density. Then the density was changed to a third density matrix. So the pyramids can still exist. They're not going to pixelate because they're of a higher density. Yeah, so they can still exist in 3D. Yeah, but going from 3D, yeah, if the pyramids were built in 3D for argument's sake, when the EMF comes, yeah, in a couple of months, or hopefully in a couple of months, hopefully soon, when the EMF comes, they would cease to exist because they're made in third density with third density simulation, like materials, yeah. But fifth density or fourth density can come and exist in third, right? So when you leave your simulation, you can't, you'll die. Your body will pack up within a few hours, yeah, maybe a day if you're lucky. Yeah, and all like the stories of all the sailors. I remember as a kid hearing about the giant kraken and the fucking monsters and all this, that, the other. They're fucking real. They were real. They were protecting the portals. That's what the Draco created, these mad monsters and crazy sea fucking shit to make sure no sailors ever went through the Summer Gate, the Dyatlov Pass, or the what's the one down in South America? I forgot what it's called. Uh, Don't know, don't matter. There's three. Anyway, so they put these scary fucking monsters there, and very rarely a sailor would, and also like this, what's that? Not a hurricane. What's that shit when the water goes around? Um, I can't remember what that's called. Anyway, they would have them. They would create them to sink ships so that no one ever got through the portal. And if they went through the other two portals, they'd be very unlikely to survive because there's a load of ocean before the next realm, like a fucking lot of ocean. So they'd probably die before they got to a landmass. Yeah, bearing in mind all of the outside realms are covered in technology, and they're all really benevolent. You know, that's why on the edge of maps you've got there be dragons. Yeah, all the old maps there be dragons. Yeah, they live in realm two. Just fucking throw a stone at them. If you go through a portal, well, if you even probably went into the beginning of a portal, because they're fourth density, dragons are fourth density. They eat sheep and meat as you'd expect, but they could come into our density and exist, definitely. That's probably why you see weird fucking sky shit and things that accidentally come into our density. I'm just guessing. I don't know that for sure, but I would guess it's possible because they're a density higher. But when we go through the portal out, through the ice wall out, we're going to see. So the sailors all see mad. That's why some of them lost their mind because what they saw was if they went through and come back, they were lucky as fuck, right? Because the ocean it ain't stable near a portal. It's moody ocean for a start. Yeah, if you're on a sea portal, and then what happens is you get sucked towards it. Yeah, as you get right close to it, you get sucked in and spat out really quickly. But the intermediary part, yeah, is just pixelation. Like mad, like they would have lost their fucking mind if they'd have gone through one of them in 1746. They'd have shat themselves big time after they've just seen some giants and kraken and mad monsters in the fucking ocean trying to kill them and maybe escape that. Probably not, but maybe because some did. They would have lost their fucking mind because when they start seeing their reality pixelate, which is what you're going to see during the EMF, you're going to see what they saw. Bit interesting, isn't it? Imagine seeing your fucking house pixelate around you. The bricks pixelate, like when you pull a game cartridge out of an old Nintendo and the screen goes funny. You're going to see shit like that. The cup of tea in your hand is going to do that. How fucked up will that be, huh? So people that don't know to expect that, they're in a lot of trouble, as you can imagine. But ultimately, no one's in a lot of trouble. It's no one dies during this. It's not a life or death. If you haven't died of the vaccine or whatever, or you haven't died of old age or whatever was wrong with you, if you've got another few months in you, you're going to be sweet. Everything will be cushy. So, well, that's what I was saying about Tesla. So Tesla, he didn't invent Looking Glass. Tesla didn't create it. What he created was a way of accessing Looking Glass. So Looking Glass works like with the ether that works with your pineal gland that's been decalcified to fuck, fluoridated as fuck through toxic metals, foods, fillings, childhood immunization. They needed to shut that pineal gland down. That's what they really needed to do. So when, oh shit, I forgot what I was saying. Give me a second. Fuck's sake. I hate it. And it do it all. Yeah, sorry, that's what I was saying. Tesla. So Looking Glass, what he found, what he invented, or probably told to invent by, I think he was an Andromedan. The spirit, the soul inside Tesla, I think Christian said was Andromedan. But anyway, so he cracked a way to use technology to access the ether. So what he was getting, he could sit between two massive Tesla coils, yeah, at the right frequency. You could dial in. He couldn't go there. It wasn't a time travel device that he created, that I'm aware of. Maybe Christian's got a different take on that, but how I understand it, he created a way to view the past, present, and future because of the ether, because that's what the Akashic records are. We call it the Akashic records, but it's just sort of some Indian sounding name for the ether. So that's how come you can time travel because it's all still there. All what you did and where you were and where you went, or anybody else did, through each of the or each incarnation, all throughout histories, it's all still there. It's not gone anywhere, and you can therefore go back to it at the right frequency, which is what Tesla invented. Not a way to go back there, but a way to view it. So that's why he sat between the two massive Tesla coils, and he was seeing images of ancient Egypt and then images of this, that, the other, all strange images, and like, but that was all because he just dialed in to the like what Looking Glass uses to connect to the ether. That's what he somehow hacked it. That's what I believe. Well, what I understand happened. Maybe Christian can can elaborate on that because that's I'd like to ask him that actually. Um, but yeah, so basically, before they came here, there was a few 100,000 of us, and we'd all been living here perfectly happy for about 25 million years on Gateway 10, having reincarnated again for the first time back fifth density. I think it was more than 25 million years, because if most of us here are ninth density now, yeah, I think that's right, Christian, if I'm right there. If we're mostly ninth density and we'd been here 25 million years, we wouldn't have started off at fifth. Well, we've been here a lot longer than 25 million years, I think. If we were ninth, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, bearing in mind that's four ascension cycles, and each one is what, a couple of billion years or something, each cycle. So I'm not sure. But anyway, we've been here a long time. And we were all from different planets. There was loads of different species here. We were loads of different species, but there was only hundreds of thousands of us. And we'd come back here to re-experience physical life again after completing all of the 15 densities, well, 10 densities in reality, because we start at level 5. So although there is 15 densities, we start at 5. So we're only doing 10. So we done the full 10. Well, or originally we done the full 15. Yeah. And then we done another, I don't know if we done another full ascension cycle, another full 15, sorry, ascension cycles, or if it was straight after the original cycle. That's another thing. I don't know. Christian will have to answer that question. Christian, if you're seeing this, bruv, what's the coup with that? Um, so yeah, so basically we were all from different species, and so you have other family that are not your vessel's family. Your vessel, with your soul not in it, would cease to exist. It would just die. It would die, and your brain would die. Take the electricity out that powers the machine, and the machine's just fucked, isn't it? Yeah, because we're organic, we'd be dead because shit starts to decompose. So the little blue light that's in your chest is the most important thing in the universe. It's a little piece of source creation, a special piece of source creation. It's the most important energy in the universe. Is the light that's in your chest. And there's all sorts of bullshit wrapped around it and all sorts of different paradigms. There's only one real reality in a sea of paradigms, one actual reality. It's just that reality is a bit hard to get your head around because we've been so indoctrinated and lied to about everything. We've been lied to about everything. Yeah, everything. There isn't anything we haven't been lied to about. Food, sport, money. Money. Nowhere uses money. The universe doesn't have money. Only here in a third density simulation is there money. That's why the Draco didn't come here for our gold. People say, oh, yeah, you get these truthers talk about the Draco needed it for their atmosphere. No, they didn't. Because if they took a bar of gold out of this environment, out of the ice wall, or out of the firmament, it would pixelate and disappear because it can't exist. It's third density gold. It's for a third density simulation. It wouldn't work out. It wouldn't exist. They couldn't use it in their atmosphere because it would never get there. It would be disappear before it got there. They were here for adrenochrome. But once again, we must never know that. So they said, oh, yeah, they were here for the gold. Sounds good, doesn't it? They weren't. They were here for the human children. And basically, the only reason they were here, the most important of several reasons. Uh, and it's fucking shocking. So, yeah, so your soul family, basically, you've got a mum and dad, brothers and sisters, aunts and uncles, and you're going to be running across fields from them in a few months' time because they're going to be part of the fake alien invasion that Werner von Braun talked about to Carol Rosin. And oh, is it last thing, Carol? Is it last thing? It's the alien invasion on his deathbed. He's another 33rd degree Mason, and so is she, probably. I don't know that for sure. But yeah, there is going to be a fake alien invasion. At the same time, you're shitting yourself because on the news they told you there's going to be a nuke war. Yeah. So everyone's got in their mind that a nuclear war involves a big bright flash of atomic energy. That's bullshit. That's not what they've never let a fucking nuclear weapon off. They've let dirty bombs off. There's no nuclear warheads. That's all fake. See, all these weird conspiracy theories that everyone's heard about years ago, they're all true. There is no nuclear weapons. Don't exist. They might create something that's got a rocket. If they did put any plutonium or whatever in it, they'd soon take it out. I mean, the Draco and the demons controlling this planet, they're not going to go and give something that could wipe out and destroy what that took them what took millions of years to terraform in the first place, and then took them thousands of years to fucking work out a way to get the adrenochrome. It's all for scare. So they use scare for all sorts of reasons. So a nuclear war, The ultimate thing is for scare. It was because they needed to make sure, even though they knew their time was up, no longer than 2045 when they were here, they needed to make sure that we were always constantly in a state of fear. Because as someone who's terrified is easily told what to do. If you've got someone who's worried about their job or their livelihood or their health or this, that, the other, or maybe the solar system's going to run out of fucking atoms or whatever, if someone's worried about something, they're more easy to control. If you're sitting there cool as fuck, you couldn't give a shit. It's very difficult to control you. That's why people that smoke weed are very hard to brainwash because you start to think. Smoking weed, smoking cannabis opens your mind. You start to have questions and formulate questions on stuff. Now, they don't want that. That's one of the reasons that it's illegal. The other reason is it takes away Big Pharma's three top earners: cancer, epilepsy, MS. Cannabis alone takes them straight out of, if they was to legalize cannabis tomorrow, Big Pharma would lose like fucking 30% of their income. They're not having that. Probably, no, probably more than that, to be honest. And once again, most of that money comes out of your Cesta KV bond. So your 15 grand a month cancer treatment that they know is going to kill you, while they've got many, many options to cure you in minutes, where sometimes in minutes, if they were to release the med beds, everyone would be cured. We'd all be living for fucking centuries. But they were never going to give med beds to anyone public or even, they're for senior elites only, and that's why the med beds aren't going to be used ever because when they're third density, they're created in third density. They are real technology created in third density by humans, yeah, using ET back engineered technology, yeah, that they've let us have for the elites, yeah. So although they exist and they work and they're real, we're never going to see them because when the EMF comes in a couple of 3 months, whenever, hopefully before Christmas, let's say that, um, that bright 30-second flash done in 30, as Trump said, that is going to take you from 3D to 5D in 30 seconds. And during that time, you're going to go back in time. Literally, this is fucking mental. I saw that video Christian done the other week. Mental. So you're going to go back in time from now. Yeah, there's three flashes, I think it is. You're going to go back in time. How you'll get your memories back is because you'll go back in time through those time bands of the ether, yeah, collecting your memories, your spirit, and you'll end up in your original body that you was in before they came. Now that is some trippy fucking shit, big time. Hmm. That's kind of hard to wrap your head around, but it's very bright on screen. Um, but yeah, and then from your original body, the third flash takes you into the future. Back to the Future, Michael J. Fox. They show you in plain sight. I saw not a documentary. I saw some geezer who had done a really excellent breakdown on Back to the Future. It was fucking awesome. Um, yeah, there was loads in that, loads of stuff in that. It was fucking ultimate breakdown. I was just thinking another geezer done a breakdown on the Twin Towers. And you remember that geezer that jumped out and he looked like the Channel 4 advert upside down with his leg in like an upside down fall as he was falling. And there's actually a tarot card that's got the Joker on that. I saw another geezer that done a really good breakdown on that. And for his breakdown, he got the TV set that he was showing you on the video and he turned it upside down. And it was only watching it upside down could you see what he was on about. And I'm like, fuck me, that geezer knows what he's on about. But maybe that was one of them showing you in plain sight. They're prolific at it. They're prolific. They do it all the time. So when the EMF comes, basically after the EBS and everyone's out there writing, looking for doctors and nurses and teachers and police and all judges and all sorts, looking for revenge and rioting, pillaging, all sorts of crazy shit going on. At some point, I don't know how long they're going to let that go on for. Don't forget, there's 24/7 air raid sirens constantly. These are like next level air raid sirens. They're not your fucking your old a horn. Yeah, they're like fucking Dolby Atmos surround sound million K. Yeah, they're fucking loud, and they're going to be going constantly from the moment from the start to the end. Probably won't be going while they're playing the EBS, but when everyone disappears out, maybe they'll play them a few times, but they're going to be continuous for the whole time, right up to the fake alien invasion. And the fake alien invasion is going to look fucking real. It ain't going to look fake. And it will look like a reset would have looked back in the old days to the Tartarians, for instance. Yeah, that would have looked like that to them, like a sky full of UFOs. So you imagine opening the fucking door and looking up and seeing a mothership that's the size of your city right above you. Not only that, millions of other craft all over the place. Smaller craft, bigger craft. That's running out of battery. Let me charge that up. 1 second. Hey, sorry about that. I had to charge the old laptop up. It's still a bit dodgy on power. But yeah, imagine looking at that. You open the door and you look up, and the sky's full of UFOs, full of them, and they're shooting energy weapons into buildings that you're going to think that some aliens turned up to take the planet back, or to take the planet. You're not going to think that, oh yeah, that'll be the good guys come to take out the satanic buildings. You ain't going to be thinking that, are you? Do you know what I mean? Yeah, it's going to be absolutely terrifying for most people. Very few people won't be terrified, and that's just about understanding what's happening. That's all it is. It's just about allowing your mind to contemplate the impossible just for a minute. And if you let one of them, I mean, if you sat there for a minute and thought about it and just think, hang on, it's 3D to 5D. Loads of people are talking about it. What does that mean? And just think about it. You know, that's another one of the other desired effects, not side effects, desired effects of the vaccine rollout and the childhood immunization program is to make people not think. It is actually to destroy brain function, which is clearly what has happened. You've got a lot of people that are vaccine damaged, not from the COVID vaccine, from the plethora of other vaccines that they've had throughout life for whatever reason. I know one of my old business partners in his 60s. His brother was in his late 50s. Was a dentist, practicing dentist. Well, a good dentist. And he had a Hep B shot, and he can't work now. He's living with his parents. His parents are in their 90s. You know what I mean? This bloke is now, I think he's been diagnosed with Asperger's or something, some late in life Asperger's or whatever. But it's clearly vaccine damage. And my former business partner himself is really susceptible, what's the right word? To mercury, thimerosal. And if he is, his brother probably is. Do you know what I mean? So that's just another name for mercury, a soft metal. Now, if you have a look at the Rothschild Secret Covenant, it explains in there that what they plan to do with soft metals. We will make them go crazy with soft metals and this, that, the other. Um, so, like the smoking gun of all this is the Rothschild Secret Covenant. If you just have a look at that, forget all the 3D to 5D, just have a look at that document, which is a real document, and just realize that once you've read it, um, they've done everything on that secret covenant that isn't really that secret. They've done it. It's not that they've nearly finished complete. They'd actually done it. They'd finished it all. Their plan was done. Yeah. So if it wasn't for extremely positive ETs that turns out are our soul family, so the people that the woman that gave birth to you 6 hours ago, well, fuck knows how, very, very long time ago, because don't forget, you don't die. So when you first left Source Creation, little blue light in your chest went into a species, let's say Pleiadian, for argument's sake. Now, you've probably always been, or for the majority of your existence, you've probably always been of the same species. So let's say Pleiadian. So you have a soul family, mothers, brothers, sisters, cousins, aunts, uncles, and you have an original body that you're not in at the moment, and you can't remember none of that because of the amnesia vortex when they mark your mind every time you die. Now these resets that we've had, six, we were going to have our seventh, I think, before it's been talked about a lot. Klaus Schwab, you will own nothing and be the happy. Yeah, that one, the seventh great reset. Well, that's just telling you in plain sight. Yeah, we're going to have another reset. Except that all came out, after the 2016 election. Yeah, so that's why he's wearing that stupid outfit. Looks like Darth fucking Vader. They're making him look stupid on purpose. That's what they've been doing for ages. Because now the good guys are in control of Looking Glass. So whoever is in control of, well, we call it Looking Glass. It's ET software that plugs into the ether of the matrix of the simulation that you're in. That's what it is. And yeah. So it's your console for that. I said a little while ago. So they had control of that. That's how come they can make sure no two twin flames will ever be here or would ever be here together. It's not possible for that to happen. So you've got control of little things like that. They can make sure that that energy frequency coming off your little blue light never bumps into the energy frequency coming off your twin flames little blue light. Yeah, it's like fucking automated computer. Once they've decided what to put in it, that's how the simulation works. But when the good guys are in control of it, good things can happen. Like people are going to find now that the ending to all this, when the EMF actually happens, which is, at some point during the chaos and rioting, then there'll be the fake alien invasion, which are your soul family. They're not ET aliens coming to destroy you or take you away or do anything like that. Now, that's what they've been doing for the last 6,014 years. Every 1,000 years, they rock up and slaughter everyone. It's called a reset. And that's where Predator, the film, comes from. And all these other fucking weird movies where aliens are killing people and shit. That's a reset. Except there's not just one or two aliens, there's fucking millions of them. And they invite all other negative aliens in from all over the fucking place. And they all come here and help. It's like a massive satanic festival. So, you know, yeah, it's not great. So just be grateful that we're not just about to go into another one of them, because that was what was going to happen if we weren't already saved by our soul family, who you're going to find out very shortly. So this looking glass that we call looking glass, they can design into that, they can put into that the fact that we will all be near or close by, or you probably even talking to your soulmate. You might even have bumped into her in the shop the other week. They'll make sure that we all meet our twin flames towards the end, or near the end, or just, well, after the end, you'll be with them anyway. Um, and that's probably the maddest bit of all of this fucking madness and horrible. This last 4 years have been shit. Fuck me, it's been horrible for almost everyone. But what's coming is fucking outrageous. It is unbelievable. So the EMF, so the best way, and this is the perfect way really, to you go and watch the 1939 motion picture, The Wizard of Oz, and in the last 10 minutes, 5 minutes, when Dorothy's back in Kansas, when she wakes up in bed in black and white, she's got Snowman, Straw Man, fucking whatever man, Lion Man next to her. You know that moment when when she's lying in bed and she's like, "Hey, I left you, huh? But you were in my dream." It's going to be like that for everyone. For everyone, it's going to be like that. So you're going to wake up and you're going to have your family around you, and you're going to think, "Hang about, know you, but you ain't seen them for a while. You know, it's been a long time, 6,014 years. They haven't forgotten you. They've been there watching you all day long, all day, every day since you were born. Every time you're born, they've been there watching you. Don't forget, time doesn't exist for them. They look the same as they did when you left them 6,014 years ago, or less, maybe in some cases. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting times coming up, to say the least. So, yeah, how mad will that be? Waking up with a load of people that it's going to be the most amazing thing ever. And when you realize that the ether, when you remember, not realize, when you remember that the ether fuels your environment. So your biofield, the energy that you give off, is interacting directly with the ether. Yeah. Like Christian says, the water in fifth density, water's more plasma-y. It's not as liquidy. It doesn't, when you pick it up in your hands, it doesn't just run out immediately like that. It's kind of weird to think about. Sounds like the water in Canvey Island. But yeah, so when you get your memories back, you will know all this. Everyone will be like, "Fucking hell," God, how could we have done that? Thinking, how can you have been eating meat? How can we have been watching that, smoking, drinking, doing mad shit? We're all going to be gutted. There'll be healing time for everyone, and that's what Little Earth, Second Earth, Y557 is for. It's for the people to heal, which won't be that long in reality. Couple of years, 3, 4 years. Don't forget all the children that were in the dumbs when that had been raped and abused and tortured and fucking all sorts of crazy shit. They're all healed. They're all healed ages ago. They all got new families and everything. So, and they've been through some serious shit. We've only got to go through like a little bit of uh, harmless entertainment, for want of a better word. Yeah, but it's coming anyway. So, and people say, like, how do you know this, is that, the other? It's not happening. Those are still in control. This, that, the other. You know, things like if you look at for instance, the vaccine mandate, can't have it. Sorry, if you have it, if you don't have it, you can't travel. No one's flying nowhere. Well, but I know a load of people that fell for that. Lots. Most people I know fell for the travel and the watching the football. Oh, we won't be able to watch football. Oh, I won't be able to fucking go on holiday. So, but they said that they weren't gonna, no one will be able to travel. Well, they never held that up, did they? Now, think for a second, if you're wondering whether this is actually happening or not, or whether the good guys are in control or not, or whether whatever, just look at that on its own. Do you think the cabal that have spent all this time, centuries planning this, with this vaccine rollout and everything, and the demonic pharmakeia that goes with it, and this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that, do you think they'd have actually gone to all that fucking trouble? to then go, do you know what? No, we won't enforce a vaccine for flying. No, no, don't worry. We'll relax that. Of course they wouldn't. We'd still be in lockdown. If well, no, we'd be dead by now. We wouldn't have made it to 2024. There's no fucking way. We'd have been dead in like 2017, 2018, 19 at the latest if Hillary Clinton had won that election. Even if Trump had won that election, we'd have been fucked because unless we'd have had them guys help from up there, we'd be fucked. There's nothing we could have done about that. Don't forget, every single there's what is there, 15 species of grey, 9 to 12, whatever species. There's millions and millions of them, and one of them has more intelligence, more understanding and knowledge than every single man, woman, and child on the face of the planet. Just one grey ET. We didn't have a chance. And there's more fucking other things out there than that, you know. So it's going to be a very interesting time. But all the bad stuff's gone. So don't get angry or stressed about what you see on the news. Don't even watch it. I ain't watched the news since 1989. Really, I haven't. I see it now and then. I haven't even seen it for fuck knows 6 months since I even saw the news, let alone. But generally, I ain't watched news for ages because I just didn't want to. But now I know the whole lot's fucking bullshit. What's the point in watching the news? You're not going to find out what's going on watching the news. I suppose, like Christian says, it's a good time to watch the news if he was ever going to, because it may have relevance to be able to you'll be able to read between the lines and work out what's going on. But I don't need to watch the news to work out what's going on. When you know what's happening, you don't need to fucking listen to none of that bollocks. You know what's going on. Christian's information covers all that, and it resonates like fuck. I love him for that. Honestly, what a legend, man. Because that information, I've wanted to know one of them things, mate. If you'd have just told me what the fucking sky fishing rods were, I'd have been made up. That'd be like, I'm sweet, I can die now. I now know what, just one thing, let alone everything else, like every fucking thing else, like all of it. Like, I mean, fuck me, the detail that he's laid into this and the peace of mind. Like I say, you cannot buy peace of mind. Yeah. And all I see is headless chickens. I see people losing their fucking shit that are awake, who know what's going on, but they're still not getting it like that. I see a really good a woman talking about the chemtrails, and she was fucking pissed with the chemtrails, and she did show them like out above her house, looked like a fucking checkerboard. They're taking the piss, mate. You could have played fucking chess on it, yeah, and she weren't having it. She was livid, like. But I'm thinking, you should have been. You're 40 years late, love. These are now good chemtrails. They're not. They're not bad chemtrails now. Barium and aluminium on the periodic table, Bal. Bal, yeah, put them together, barium, aluminium, Bal. They've got it locked down. They had it locked down so tightly, you we wouldn't have a chance. Well, no one had a chance. So moaning about how it's dragging on and it ain't happened yet, when it ain't about fucking people retiring or getting their crypto and all this, that, the other. There's no tier one, two, three redemption bonds. All that bullshit is just to give people a bit of something to hope, because you're going to have another fucking 50 million, 200 million people going nuts otherwise, because they realise they've got nothing to look forward to. If they've got no med bed to look forward to, because they're not going to believe what I'm telling you now. Q can't come out and say, "Don't worry, everyone, it'll be sweet. We'll be EMF the fuck back off home in a minute." Can't say that, can he? They, them, whoever the fuck Q is, yeah. They can't tell you the like that truth. They can't just come out with it, because you've got to learn. You've got to learn by this experience that's coming up, because never again can anyone sell their soul. This has to be so entrenched deeply into people that no one would ever, ever, ever dare to, like fucking, I don't like spiders much. I'm a lot better now than I was, but if I see one in the distance, I'll pick my petticoat up and I'm fucking off, mate. Yeah. So you need to have that level of fear in people, that if anyone was to ever be approached again by a demon, that they would really understand that them committing suicide there and then would be far better than what was to come from entertaining contact with that demon. That's how it would, you've got to be scared shitless, and that's what's going to happen. And I'm lucky enough to not have to worry about being scared shitless, Christian. I'm grateful as fuck for that, bruv, honestly, because I know what's coming, like you do, mate. I see it coming big time, and it ain't far away now. All right, you got a couple of dates wrong, but that ain't nothing, is it? It's been 6,014 years, wasn't another few months. You know, it's just unfortunate, but um, it's about children getting skinned alive, which you're going to see on the EBS. You're going to see that, and your whole family going to be sitting there watching that. They want kids to see it too. Don't forget, children aren't children as such. They've had their mind wiped, but they're ancient beings. Most people's kids are probably older than them spiritually, in a a little blue light sense. Do you know what I mean? So although they're little people, is all they are, literally. They're spiritually as old or older than everybody else. So yeah, because there's no option. You don't get to choose your family line and keep reincarnating back into it. That's what Christian means about the whole vessel thing. Because if you took the blue light out of the vessel ceases to be animated. So when you're reborn, you don't get the option. You've got to fight over, it's like a feeding frenzy, as it were, of souls trying to get into a vessel because they got to make sure they got way more souls than they have vessels because they can't have like no downtime. They can't have a load of stillborns because they ain't got. Because what would happen if there wasn't, for instance, if there was a shortage of souls and too many vessels, there'd be stillborns left, right, and centre because the the soul comes into the baby immediately after birth, not before birth, not during conception or just after conception or on the 21st day. No, after birth, after the baby's still attached to the umbilical cord, is when the soul comes in. Normally, is when the soul comes in to the solar plexus of the baby and animates the baby, and the baby takes its first breath because someone just put the Duracell in it. So sometimes that umbilical cord will be cut before that happens, and something's happened and maybe whatever, yeah. But normally it's while it's still attached to the umbilical cord, and that's not a necessity. That's just because it's that immediate. As soon as the baby's born, bang, because there'll be like fucking 300 souls around that baby waiting for that baby to be born, knowing that they need that woman's pregnant just about to give birth, and they need a vessel. And fuck matey and matey next to them because I'm yeah. So that's all the soul knows. It knows its sex and it knows it needs a vessel. Yeah. Um, and then everything else it's taught after. And that's what the whole fucking education system is. And all of this is actually really easy to work out. You ain't got to be a genius to work this out. You just got to have an open mind. That's all you got to do. And look around you and look at things that you already know. Look at things in history and you're thinking, hang on. Like I remember being a kid and asking my parents donkeys ago when I was like 5 or 6, how is the half moon caused by the Earth being in between the sun and the moon? Because I can see the sun over there in the distance, and I can see the moon over there in the distance, and we're over here, fuck off miles away. So how are we in between them two that I can see over there? And no one could answer that. And that was when I was like 4 or 5. And we've all had these questions. The reason no one could answer it is because that ain't how it rolls. That ain't what the fucking, yeah, the morning star, the planet Venus, yeah, is responsible for the phases of the moon. Yeah, the northern rock or the apparatus that they have in the center of the realm, in the middle of the disk, is what causes the eclipses. It's not caused by the yeah. So they've got the whole thing set up, smoke and mirrors, perfect smoke and mirrors. It's I had to stop watching it because it's so annoying. That geezer, Julian Clary, no, Jim Carey. Yeah, you know what I mean, Mr. Mars. Oh look, I can pull funny faces. I couldn't watch it, but what's that thing called? It's called oh shit, what's that film? What he made that film? Oh, it's just gone out of my head what it is. But anyway, it's exactly what's happening, just on a planet scale. Um, oh, it's done me that as I can't remember what it's called. Anyway, yeah, it's exactly what's going on. That's exactly what's going on. It's a tightly controlled fucking stage. You know what I mean? It's all controlled. Everything you see and hear is controlled by the same 6 companies that are, two families in the same 13 bloodlines have controlled everything you see and hear. Like the Rockefellers got their name from the Rockefellers. Yeah. Now you think of a tree feller, you don't fell rock, but the giant trees that are there to produce the oxygen for the realms existed. And what turned them into stone was EMF technology, yeah, that turned the giants to stone. That also will take us back to fifth density, same EMF technology in a minute, just a different type. So EMF technology, like it's the copper wire of a fifth density reality, is crystalline plasma and electromagnetic frequencies. That's how it runs in 5D, and it all runs off the ether. We don't have to worry about building free energy devices, and we've created a 0 point module, and oh look, we can power off. It don't work like that. It works off love and empathy. In fifth density, the love and empathy that beings create and generate within the realm, within the simulation environment, is what fuels the ether. It's what makes everything colourful, resplendent in beauty and depth and vibrancy. Plants. they'll be alive. Plants are almost, well, they are alive in fifth density. You communicating directly with a plant, with your pineal gland that's been calcified as fuck down here in third density, so you can't use it. And you've had your mind wiped, so you can't remember none of this. None of us can. Your Christian can. So thank God he mentioned it before this happened, because my outlook on this is totally different. Because yeah, I'll be very concerned right now. If I didn't know what was going on right now, or last year or 2 years ago, I'd be very concerned, and I would be as angry as the other people I'm meeting are. Like the people that are just waking up about chemtrails. Well, they're not bad chemtrails now, and they're making it 10 times more than there ever has been. 'Cause before there'd be like one, two, three. You might get eight. I've seen like fucking 30, 40 in one eyeful. Do you know what I mean? It's a lot of chemtrails. They're doing it to, obviously we know now, to clean the air, to clean the environment. It's getting rid of, I mean, because the sun is not a bad thing. The sun don't give you sunburn normally. It's only because the chemtrails and what they spray up there. It's like everything. They have multiple reasons for every thing that they do. They want as many different negative outcomes against us from that as possible. Chemtrails being just one. Chemtrails you're going to get, it's going to cause the sun particle, sorry, the particles to get heated up, change the rays of the sun as it comes through, and you get sunburn. That's why you get sunburn, because the shit they spray in front of the sun, so the sun has to pass through it, changes it. So that's why you get sunburn. The sun don't normally burn you. It's the source of light, sun. Yeah. And also the chemtrails make you age, and they give you Alzheimer's and dementia. They help towards that, and also they do a whole raft of different things. So everything they have has got multiple negative outcomes for them. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, like I say, when this happens, people ain't gonna know what the fuck's hit them. They're not gonna know what the fuck's hit them. And ultimately, it doesn't matter if you're fucking vaccinated or not. It doesn't matter because no one's going to die, and we're all going to what we would call right now paradise. Worst case scenario, you're going to paradise, whether you've been vaccinated or not. The worst thing that can happen to you between now and like 3 months, unless you get run over tomorrow in a car, then you'll just get reborn in a brand new baby, like just as you would have done before 2019, except you'll have your memories back because the amnesia vortex is gone. So 4-year-olds and shit should be starting to remember past lives now, or 3-year-olds even. I don't know if anyone's noticed that in any kids. Have they reported any? If the amnesia vortex isn't there no more, then children should be remembering past lives by now. It's about 4 years, isn't it? Yeah. So yeah, much will change. But when you get your memories back, it won't be. You'll be like, oh fuck, can't believe we fell for that. It's going to be like that, but a bit more embarrassing because it went on for so long. But yeah, ultimately, there's nothing to worry about. Yeah, get angry, push back, right to the fucking right. Do this, do push back. Don't stop paying bills. Definitely, just on my website. Yeah, I don't want to plug my website, but you might as well have a look on my website because there's loads of things on there. Yeah, and I'm getting back, and I must apologise to everyone I ain't got back to yet on my common law stuff. I'm working on it, but I'm spinning plates at the moment. I'm also bringing out a D-dimer test that I'm launching in about a week. Um, to detect, in case anyone don't know what a D-dimer is. So a D-dimer, previously, before this happened, you'd have to go to your GP. A D-dimer test detects blood clotting at a molecular level. So before visible clotting presents, a D-dimer test will pick that up. But you used to have to get it done at a GP. They'd get a motorcycle courier to take the blood to hospital. It would be checked. It all had to be done really quick because blood's going to coagulate. Well, now there's a home D-dimer test kit. So you can test yourself to see if the COVID vaccine's done you any harm in less than 10 minutes. So it's just there's a drip of blood and 3 drips of reagent. So Medicure, my company's bringing out a batch of those to make them available to people because then there's a lot of worried people now that realise they made a mistake. I know quite a lot of people now that actually admitting they would really regret having it. Um, and obviously they don't want to think about it. They don't want to know. They're like, oh my God. But this test will tell you if you've been harmed by it. So it will show the microclotting at molecular level, which it could be other things. Doesn't necessarily mean it's definitely COVID vaccine injury. But if you've had at least one COVID vaccine and you get a you get a positive D-dimer test, um, it's time to go to your GP and inquire to see what's going on because something's wrong, definitely for whatever reason. You might have deep vein thrombosis for whatever reason, or you could have blood clotting for another reason. It might not necessarily be that, because you might have got a dud one and still have A positive, it's not impossible, but to be on the safe side, if you have had a COVID vaccine, I would want one. That's why I'm releasing launching these because I would want it, and it's the cheapest on the net that comes with a Lancet. There are other cheaper ones on the net. My kit's 14.99 with free delivery in the UK. The cheaper kits don't come with what you need to prick the blood. So what are you going to do? Use a fucking carving knife to like get the blood into, it comes with a little, so it's 14.99. The cheapest I think was 19.99. So I come in way low, and I just want to get these out to people because then they can either stop worrying or start celebrating or both. So anyway, um, yeah, just thought I'd bring some new information, not new information, but just recap on some stuff there for people that maybe don't understand. Because I think a lot more people don't understand than do. That obviously they do, but even the people that understand don't understand, and they're still getting stressed and worried and concerned about what they're seeing in the media, which is all bullshit. It's all bullshit. Turn it off. There's nothing on there of any good. You'll find more true information on the fucking episode of Night Garden for children, yeah, on CBBC than you would on the fucking news. Yeah, there's no. It's an Enid Blyton fucking story. The news. It's bullshit. There ain't nothing true on it. Uh, and then when you stop watching this crap fake media, then you start to see the truth. You start to contemplate things. You start to think about stuff and you think, hang on, that geezer was on about someone eating kids the other day and then that red shoes. What's that about? Have a look into it. It's true. You might not want to think it's true. You might not want to think your whole life has been a blatant lie. It's embarrassing, you know? But like, well, I didn't know anything anyway in the first place. I had a lot of things that I was interested in, and but I didn't pin my pride on nothing. But I thought I was pretty good at a lot of shit that or no, not pretty good at. I thought I knew a lot of shit that no, it was wrong, totally wrong. And you need to be not affected too badly by that. Just take it on the chin. It's like, oh, fuck, I was wrong again. Yeah, it's common. I'm always, like I say, I'm always fucking wrong. It's rare when I'm right and I need to have a little party. It's so rare. You know what I mean? So, like I say, anyway, big love, people. Yeah, have a nice time and enjoy it for what it is. It's all the bad stuff's gone, and I know it's scary in the news and there's weird shit going on, and they're freaking you out with this, that, the other. But also, just think, apply your mind and think back to what's happened. Think about all the things you've seen and heard since you can remember that stick out in your mind as unusual or what the government's doing. I mean, like, think when I was like proper young, when I heard I mean, I was born in 73, after the Cold War, I think. I think that was after. I remember hearing about the Cold War. And I also remember being told that if there was ever a bomb to go off in school, then we'd have to get under the table. Yeah, that was said once at primary school. And I'm like, that's a bit fucking sus, that is. You sure this is a safe place to be? Anyway, so that was the Cold War. But at the same time, I'm thinking, hang on, how come we had a fucking lunar expedition with the Russians and well, how come America, yeah, if we're having a war with them, what are they sharing a bed up there for? How is that? How are you having a war with them, but you're openly not at the same time in space? That stinks. It stinks. That on its own stinks. Yeah, just that. So you can go back looking through all the news articles in the 40s, 50s, all on, and there's loads of stuff that stinks. I can't think of a load in my head right now, but that was one of them. Loads of stuff, you know. Like when I was a kid, when I was about 12, I remember there was in the news. It was bang all over the news about some glass had been found in baby food. Yeah, in the manufacturing process, and I was like, wow, that's fucked up. How can that have happened? A jar of baby food had glass in it, like one jar. That's shocking. That's just code for them telling you they put shit in baby food. Baby food's got more babies in it than the fucking baby eating it. You might think you're a pure vegan and go to do yoga and all that, this, that, this, that. You've eaten as many dead children as the rest of us. Don't matter how vegan you are or vegetarian. You don't think they're going to let you escape, do you? No way. If you're eating anything that ain't what you've grown in your own vegetable patch, and even then it's polluted, then it's got children in it and dead pensioners and fucking the fat off some old lady's back in it. That's what they do. That's what McDonald's had, the red hair, the red nose, the red mouth, the red shoes. That's what McDonald's is. It's when they're eating, it's the mess you get round your face when you're eating, you get a bloody nose and mouth when you're eating a kid, I presume. Yeah, that's what McDonald's is. They show you the shit in your face and they feed you your own kids while they make you pay for your own Sesta KV bond twice over. when it's your fucking money. So slavery, it's next level slavery beyond your imagination. Next level doesn't even touch the sides. Next level slavery. What we've lived through for the last 6,000 is, and definitely this last 1,000 years has been the worst, big time. The last 1,000 years, the last 600, 700 years have been the worst of all of the resets. And what was to come was going to be worse than any of the resets combined. They were going to destroy your actual soul. They couldn't totally destroy it, but they found a way they could like mong it off, yeah, to crush it with demonic pharmakeia that is in that vaccine. So, or that's in the what that the proper one that would actually stop your souls. You just be like it would be like a dumbed down battery that just automated a robot, and that would be your soul, not the vessel. You were fucked. Yeah, if it wasn't for them up there that no one believes in, yeah, people still laugh at it. No, well, a lot of people do now, but you know, it's going to be some mad shit in the next few months. Going to be some mad shit, and when this EMF comes, don't forget 3 flashes. Yeah, first flash takes you back, gets all your fucking memories. You get all your memories through the bands of the ether because all the past is still there. It's still happening and going on. Yeah, and you can go back and forward in time to see it. I think Christian was saying you've got like I think it's a 30-year sort of window that follows you around as you go around the cycle. Yeah, you've got like 30 years either side where your future self's for up to 30 years ahead of you and your past self's up to 30 years behind you, and it kind of moves around. Yeah, wow, it's going to be some mad shit. Anyway, I'm waffling. Nice one. Big love, people. Take care.